won by a big margin, lost by a big margin, won by a big margin and lost again. Those two losses against the Cats and the Demons.
Well, we'll try and get some more reasons for perhaps why the Eagles have been up and down. Let's go to their coach, Ken Judge, and he's with Richard Osborne.
Well, thanks, Anthony. Ken, in recent times on the road in Melbourne, the Eagles have started to struggle slightly. Is that something you're conscious of?
Well, we sort of haven't focused a lot on it because, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy if we sort of dwell on it. Our first couple of efforts in Melbourne weren't too bad this year, so, we've tried to take some positives out of that and just think about the areas of the game that we can control, and that's just being hard at the ball and getting a lot of numbers around the contest and all those sort of things. So they're the things we're really focused on, not so much on what's happened the last couple of times we've been here.
And David Wirapunda being out of the side, obviously he's been possibly your best player this season. Is there anyone in particular you're looking to cover for him?
Oh, no, well, I think we've got to share the load a bit. I mean, he's been pretty good. He's been very good form for us this year, and he's been one of the form players in the competition. So it's always disappointing when you lose players of that calibre, but I think the players are understand that we've just got to share the load around a bit more, and if we can do that, then we can hopefully cover him.
And both teams very strong in the midfield. Is that where you see the game won or lost tonight?
Yeah, well, I think that'll be important because Richmond have certainly been in good form and playing well, and they've been really hard at the ball in that area. When we've played our better games, we've been pretty good in that area too. We've got some very good players through that area, so it'll be a pretty close contest in there, and it'll probably determine the outcome of the game.
Well, thanks, Ken. Good luck tonight.
Thanks very much.
Ken Judge with Richard Osborne. That change in the Eagles team, Wirapunda out and Josh Wooden coming in, and also Peter Matera at selection on Thursday night coming in with Guy McKenna out of the lineup.
Yeah, Braun, Cousins, Kemp and Peter Matera, I think, are the key players. The way Ken Judge was explaining it, they are the keys in the midfield. Fraser Gehrig, we've spoken about him, and I'm sure that what happened during the week is going to have some sort of adverse effect on his performance tonight.
Scotty Cummings, like the Eagles, up and down.
Yeah, well, he's been pretty good, but I think he might feel a bit more comfortable. He's got Philip Matera back, and I think when he knows that if he makes a contest, there's a small player at ground level for him.
Well, the Richmond lineup coming onto the ground at Colonial. As we said, the roof is open tonight. They were great last week, but the absence of Brendan Gale will make a very big difference tonight. He's a late change in the lineup as they come through the banner, and certainly the Tigers will be out in force tonight, the crowd, because they really do get on the bandwagon, don't they, the Tigers, as we go down to their coach, Danny Frawley, and he's with Richard Osborne.
Spud, you must be happy with the way the boys are playing at the moment. It's showing a lot of spirit and commitment.
Yeah, the last month's been pretty good, Oz. The youngsters are really standing up. We've got a few guys out, but I suppose the positive part of it, Hilton and Aaron Fiora boys all getting their opportunity, and they're taking it with both hands, which is great from our point of view.
You seem to be getting a lot of run from the back half. I know you played that way yourself when you played in the back line. Is that something that you've really pushed the team to do?
Yeah, well, listen, it is a running game now, and the ball turns over 80% of the time. It's in half back, so you really do need some runners there. Gasper's probably going to be he is going to be a big loss, but we'll still get some runners back there. And I think Hilton, Hilton, Tawney, they're guys who are 6 foot tall that actually can spoil the ball and bring it to the ground, and actually then turn defence into attack. And that's the way the game's played now. There's probably 2 key defenders, 2 key forwards, and the rest are basically midfielders. So if you're not prepared to run as a half-back flanker, especially on our side, you probably need to go somewhere else.
And with Richo out, Brad Elkins has provided a good target up forward. You'd be happy with him?
Yeah, no, listen, he's been sensational. It's been a really good effort from Brad, and hopefully we can keep it going tonight.
Well, thanks, mate, and good luck in tonight's game.
Thanks, Oz.
Leon Cameron and young Royce Vardy coming into the Richmond lineup, and out, as we said, Gasper injured, and also Brendan Gale. So they'll be a hard one, and the way the structure changes with Ottens having to go into the ruck will be important. Matthew Rogers was an important player for them late last week, Robert.
Yeah, it fell into place for Matthew towards the end of the game. I think he kicked all of his goals in the last quarter, but it'll be interesting to see how the youngsters go. I think Nick Daffy might lift. He's had a couple of weeks off and just been average as far as Richmond are concerned. He was terrific last week, Joel Bowden, in the first quarter when they set their victory against Geelong up.
And Joel Bowden, of course, is Richmond's top kick-getter for the year, and also equal top with Matthew Knights for handball. So he's doing it with both hand and foot and been an outstanding player. Big one for both teams. The Eagles are 4-3 in the draw. Richmond are 4-4. Who'll win tonight? We'll take a break and come back to Colonial for the Banners.
The 2000 European PGA Tour.
Lap is only playing one place, the bottom of the cup.
Friday afternoon at 4:30 on C7 Sports.
It looks good. It's very good. It's
That's outstanding. That could be a costly miss.
Exclusive highlights of the Benson & Hedges Invitational Open.
My goodness, did you see that? And something again puts him off.
Beautifully struck. The European PGA Tour continues Friday afternoon at 4:30 on C7 Sport.
Hurry into Harvey Norman and buy furniture and bedding with no deposit and no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months. That's right, no deposit with no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months on all furniture and bedding, lounge and dining furniture, bedding and bedroom suites, everything you need to make your house a comfortable home. What a deal! No deposit with no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months. Available to approved customers now at Harvey Norman.
To me, the stock market is a sea of numbers, where from only $29, Commonwealth Securities make trading shares on the internet really cheap. I was small fry before the bank's margin loan boosted my buying power. Working as a storeman is just a means to an end. It won't be where I'll be in the future.
Whether it's shares, managed funds or margin loans you dream about,
this is where I'd like to be.
Make it happen with the bank.
Coming soon on C7 Sport, the best in men and women's international hockey.
Well worked, Australia.
Over 25 live games.
And she scores. Lined it up and banged it in. Just waiting to pounce. Finally, beautifully taken. He's got it past the goalkeeper.
Our women are world and Olympic champions. Our men are an international force. Both are defending trophy champions. FIH Champions Trophy, coming soon on C7 Sport.
Yes, the Tigers and the Eagles. As you can see, the roof is open. A cool night in Melbourne, but at Colonial Stadium, pretty good conditions as Jim Steins, the Brownlow medalist, joins us. Jimmy, good evening.
Good evening, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. There's young Royce Vardy. He's going to line up. Who are you tipping tonight?
Oh, well, it's a very difficult one. I think I'm just looking forward to a really good game. If the Eagles can perform like they have at home, well, they'll win easy, but I think they will.
Good decisive stuff from Jim Steins. Let's get down to Richard Osborne, who's boundary side. Aussie.
How are you guys? As you said, Hutto, the roof is open. Conditions perfect for football. A late change if you've just joined the telecast. Brendan Gale out for the Tigers. Young Ezra Poyas gets his chance. Me too. I don't know who to pick. Both teams can be very good on night and very ordinary. Richmond are gaining momentum, but will be a good clash, boys. I'm looking forward to it.
So about 500 games between them and they can't pick a winner. Robbo, what about you?
Well, I was going to ask Richard and Jimmy. Richard, you've been out of it for a couple of seasons now. Jimmy, only 12 months. What about Fraser Garrick, Jim? How do you think that what happened during the week will affect him?
No, I think he'll be up to it. He's a pretty casual sort of customer, and once he doesn't hit another umpire tonight, I think he'll be all right.
Richard, have you got an opinion on that?
I think once the ball's bounced, Robbo, everything's forgotten about, and all you're worried about is getting that ball.
Well, the ball is bounced in the middle, and Ottens, of course, playing on the ball. Daffy be happy to get a kick out of the middle. Morrison starting down back on Dragocevic. That's Jagovic's clearing kick, and he really did. Fine touch, as they say, and the ball over the line and out of bounds. David Burke with the job on Scotty Cummings. That's quite a big ask for him down at the other end of the ground. Tawney on Philip Matera. Callaway was good then. This is Boughton. He was electric last week. He has to kick up his wrong boot, which obviously isn't all that strong. Ottens did pretty well to compete. Jakovic. Oh, gee, was very bold there. Reid. Got plenty of space in front of him. In the end, he kicked a little bit quickly. Turnbull was competitive, very competitive against Vardy, but his handball, chaffy this is. Bitterscombe, who's been a bit of a surprise packet, and his delivery is pretty good normally. Tawney, smothered. And good work. Gardner forcing his way through. And the ball over the line and out of bounds. Great work by Rintoul there, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's a really tough player, and he's really courageous. You know, he's not afraid to go back in line with the ball and put his body on the line.
Richmond have started with Fiora, Cameron, Tivendale and Poyas. Poyas coming in, of course, for Brendan Gale. Those four players starting on the bench. And for the Eagles, Simmons, Glass, Fletcher and Wooden. And Wooden has come into this side that was selected on Thursday night, replacing Wapunda.
Just some of the matchups, McIntosh on Ottens and Djakovic on Holland.
Well, it's a tremendous experience for young Vardy. The ball gathered by Kemp, kicks across the half-forward line. It was a good kick. Cummings provided the lead, and he is certainly a chance to kick a goal. The Eagles players going back to Dean Kemp to give him the congratulations.
Jim, I know that David Burke couldn't do much, but that is a pretty good matchup, I would think, for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'd say so, because obviously Burke's not very strong and Cummings is, but you know, on a lead, they'd probably hope that Burke can go with Cummings, but not on that one. If the ball's coming in that easy, there's not much you can do about it.
It was a good kick. The mark was taken, and the goal attempt is unsuccessful. Cummings has the first score, a behind to the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, he's an interesting player, Cummings, because sometimes you've got to try 2 or 3 players on him. You know, he might get away, he might kick 2 or 3 early in a game, but then you can sort of take him out of it later with a good matchup.
Well, we thought Melbourne did a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Yeah, we thought Gehrig might take one of the key forwards for Richmond, but he's playing on the wing on Biddiscombe at the moment.
Actually, they're moving a few players around. They had Callaway on Gehrig a little bit earlier.
Well, here's Callaway now, feeding Broderick. Knights. It all came loose for him there. And the feed was good. Harrison running off half-back. The kick not bad, over Ottens' head. Almost carried through for a goal. So who are Richmond running in the ruck then, with Ottens taking the centre bounce and then pushing forward?
Yeah, they're probably looking for a mismatch, because like Knights is another one. He started on the wing, and they've got King,
might be
Broderick
Harrison.
and Callaway.
Might be Harrison running as a small ruck rover.
Yep.
Around the grounds.
Good mark.
Metropolis off the left.
It was Jones who took the mark. Embley kicks the ball forward for the Eagles. Good kick too. Well done, Philip Matera. Just like the look of their forward line when Philip Matera's there to crumb the ball, Jim.
Yeah, and actually he had Cousins on there on his own, running in deep inside 50, but just took a bit too long there, Philip.
He's probably too far out to score, isn't he? 50 metres. He's not renowned for excessive long kicking.
They're trying to get a 2-on-1 here. The Eagles, but it's not going to come off.
He runs close to the man on the mark, lobs the ball in the square, just touched, only just, and through for a behind to Philip Matera. A couple of behinds to the West Coast Eagles, 1 behind to the Tigers. That is the score. 2 points to 1 early in this match. Both sides just testing each other out.
And Richmond tend to go long a lot from their kick-outs now, particularly on this ground with the pockets a lot narrower. And they've shaved off a couple of metres. Makes it a lot harder to find a short.
As the Saints found out last week, Burke along the wing, plenty there. Harrison, Braun went to ground. Callaway did well to get up. Tawney on the escape. It opens up for the Tigers. They'll still try to need a bit of marking, and Holland tried to provide it, but good defensive work. Morrison's clearing kick. Embley was clean bowled, and it's out.
Actually, just picking up, they have made a change on Cummings, and they put Royce Vardy down at full back.
Gee.
Which is pretty tough for your first game.
Certainly is. Still, the last Royce at Richmond wasn't a bad player. Hilton over the top of Embley, made the spoil. Good work though. Crabb went very wide.
It'll be interesting to see tonight how Richmond go with players like Hilton on that half-back line. Last week with Hilton coming off and Biddiscombe with these players, they provide a tremendous amount of drive.
Well, Holland doing the ruck work on the wing. Knights. Callaway. Morrison versus Dragicevic. Oh, well done. He ran him inside out. The handball wasn't great to Jones. Really did put him under pressure, and he just about should have been pinged. Just about. The ball over the boundary line probably saved him.
Dragicevic, very good there.
Let's have another look. Well, it was a great tackle.
It was, and often they do pay free kicks sometimes.
Well, it's kick forward there for the Eagles by Jones, a wobbly old kick, gathered by Embley, fed it off to Cousins. His kick gathered by Gehrig, fell over, but his recovery was brilliant. Matera's kicking towards full forward. Cummings, he's got it.
And they've made that change back, Robbo. Young, Vardy has been switched and Burke's back onto Cummings.
Well, Ducks and Drakes in the Tiger defence.
As you see here, they had 3 on 2, and Cummings should not have been able to mark that. They had Harrison dropping back.
Well, Scott Cummings does kick the ball a long way, but it's not the distance that's the worry here. He's deep in the right forward pocket. A legion of Richmond fans. They've got plenty of hopes riding on this match. And season 2000, Cummings' shot at goal has missed to the right. So 2 behinds to Scott Cummings.
It's interesting with Scott Cummings, his accuracy to date has been quite phenomenal. 39 goals and 9 points. And you'd think he would have got at least one of those kicks by now.
Well, it was a good point you made about the kick-outs, Jimmy, with the more slimline Colonial Stadium.
Plus also Richmond tend to go long. They're not a short kicking out type game.
Chaffee through the middle of the ground. We can see clearly how it opened up for Hilton. He does well. Knight will usually make you pay. Usually. Not this time. So both sides having trouble in front of the sticks at the moment.
Well, that was the easiest one. Usually Matthew Knights had mopped that up.
Oh, yeah. And also, it's good to see Richmond take a few risks. Like, obviously, Hilton just took off after that kick out. I love seeing half-back lines actually be an attacking force and actually kick some goals.
The kick-in goes short, and McIntosh receives and gives it back to Metropolis. Metropolis kicks out wide into the path of, and giving the opportunity for Cousins. He left it behind after bouncing. Probably the advantage there with the Eagles, because he eventually found Rintoul towards full forward, and no mark. Philip Matera, chance for Harrison. Chaffee, run down by Peter Matera. Gee, he's dynamic in that circumstance. Have a look, he's got him again. But eventually the Tigers get clear of their half-back line. Harrison onto the favoured left foot, into the middle, kick a little too high. Morrison couldn't take it. The spillage gathered by Cousins, gets the handball away. Advantage here, Turnbull and Peter Matera, and Peter Matera's vision was terrific, and he's found Gardner within scoring range.
And this is exactly what Gardner's got to do. If you're playing on a smaller player in the ruck, you've got to be an attacking ruckman, because and you hope then that you'll get a mismatch, and this is what they've got here. Richmond are forced to play a smaller player on the ruck so that they can keep options forward. And you see Gardner just drifted inside 50. Now it's a shot on goal.
Well, from a similar position to which Cummings was confronted with a moment or so ago, and he puts it straight through the centre. Goal to Michael Gardner. First goal of the game to the Eagles. They lead 1-3 to Richmond, 2 behinds.
And really, this is the sort of pressure that the Eagles will want to put on them. When you have a guy like Brendan Gale out of the side, as you'll see, Ottens is now going to come back in and take this centre bounce. But you really do want to be able to get on top in that area, so it'll force Richmond to make some changes on the ball.
It was their start last week against Geelong that knocked the Cats off balance, really.
So the Eagles making a much more promising start on this trip to Melbourne. Had a fair bit of it. This time the Tigers able to get the ball very high and very wide. Callaway, eternity to wait for it to bounce. Clinton King, oh, he chipped it up. Then Morrison had the ride, couldn't complete the mark. That was fearsome tackling, though. Dragicevic, Broderick, Andrew Callaway. Ottens getting to the front. Good spoil, he fought on and did well. Broderick's going to find it tough to get boot to ball. Great tackle, Kemp. And a little bit rough, not to be rewarded, Dean Kemp.
Looks as though he had both hands free to get the hand pass away there, Paul Broderick, and the umpire giving him every opportunity.
They put the whistle away, haven't they, really?
It was a terrific tackle.
He's doing well so far, Broderick. Already had 4 possessions.
Bounce right in front of the Richmond goal. Kemp, Braun taken to the ground by Broderick, and the umpire will have to bounce once again about 40, maybe 35 metres from the Tigers' goal, directly in front. Well, you couldn't get better conditions for a game of footy, could you? The roof open, we've had a little bit of rainfall today, but conditions are just about perfect for footy.
Absolutely.
Bounce of the ball, Tigers a chance to score. Gathered by Rogers, back to Knights. Knights into the pocket, good. And a very athletic performance there by Ben Holland to take the mark close to the turf.
Well, he actually gave them a hell of a lot last week, Ben Holland. You know, his form is always, well, I found this year being a bit up and down, but last week I think he had about 9 marks and kicked 3 goals. So he did provide a really good focal point for Richmond, and it is an area with Richardson out of the team. They need someone like a Ben Holland to stand up here.
Well, a chance for the Tigers' first goal. Ben Holland kicking all the way. Goal to Richmond. Very good kick by Ben Holland. And Richmond did that nicely to get their first goal of the game. They trail by a point.
Well, as you see here, Ottens in the rock didn't win a hit out, but the Eagles just tapping it forward, which just was played into the hands of Richmond. And Holland just took a good mark there, and he kicked a good goal from just inside 50. And that's just the sort of pressure that Richmond really need to put on here. They want to stay in this.
Leon Cameron starting on the bench tonight, back in the Richmond side as a key player, one of the best disposals of the ball for the Tigers in defence particularly. Matera wants a free. Callaway shut Gary Hocking out of the game last week. Bitterscombe combining well. Chaffee out wide, good kick in the end. Andrew Callaway led pretty wide. There's a couple of loose Tigers down the ground. He spots them now. In the end it was very wide. Dragicevic went out. He tried to keep it in, but he went off his left boot, and the boundary umpire was actually Johnny on the spot there and calls correctly as we see the replay of that. So 9 to the Eagles and 8 to the Tigers.
This is an area actually in the forward line. Big Ottens in the rock against Jakovic. Big height difference.
And a beautiful tap. Daffy couldn't get clear, but Ottens says, I'll do it on my own, and fires away. But unfortunately for the Tigers, he misses. So 1-3, each of 2. At the moment, we're almost midway through this first quarter.
If you just look at that as a set play, to just Ottens to tap it down there, but obviously Richmond trying to keep it as free and as open as they can.
Kick in is pretty good. It's been taken here by Crabb. Crabb gets the hand pass off, and Metropolis receiving, kicks the ball to half forward. Where are the Crummers? It looks like the Tigers may get a chance. Chaffee, Harrison. Harrison is running with Gardner. Gathered by Andrew Callaway. His kick out wide. Three Tigers. So they can just share it around. Dragicevic kicks in towards half forward. Ball spills to the back of the pack. Gathered by Rintoul. Hand pass off Braun. Oh, and Callaway could have cleaned him off Colonial Stadium. Bitterscombe, Broderick gets the hand pass away to Daffy. Daffy towards full forward, and it bounces over for a throw-in in the left forward pocket for the Tigers. Watch this, he missed him. Oof. Went down a bit lower and went off to the right, and I don't think Michael Braun would have taken much further part in the game, Jim.
No, I don't think he would have. It's good though.
I think Duncan Callaway there was an example of the way the players are playing the game now. You know, 5 or 6 years ago, he just would have run straight through the game.
Yeah, he probably would have lifted his elbow.
Free kick here, and it's going to Richmond. Holding against Reid may go to Daffy. Reid is just absolutely nonplussed. The umpire was in a terrific position to make the decision, and it is a free kick to Daffy. He should kick Richmond's second goal.
Well, it's taken Daffy a while to get into this game. This is only your second possession, but when you're in and under it, you're always a chance of getting it free.
Well, I just think he's been down a little. He had that little altercation a few weeks ago, and his form has been just a little down on the normal Nick Daffy. But he's kicked the goal early, and they've had a dust-up too, Reid and Daffy. Daffy kicks the goal from the resultant free kick. And the Tigers hit the front. They're 2-3-15. West Coast Eagles 1-3-9. Andy Lovell there, and Philip Reid. Andy Lovell, former Eagles player, former Melbourne player.
Yeah, good fella too.
So the Tigers answering after the opening Eagles goal. Gardner uncontested in the middle. Rintoul came through, but Callaway got the kick away. Oh, a bit of hesitation from the Eagles. Matera goes in again and gets them forward, gets them well inside 50. to his brother.
Well,
good creative handball. Gehrig shoot goal from there, and it was just so close.
Some good play there, though. You know, Gehrig just held back, didn't take off, just waited, allowed Phillip to see him. And Phillip's handball was just, Matera's handball was beautiful.
Biddiscombe kicking in, but Embley giving a... No, he hasn't given away the free. The free might go to Kemp, is it? It is coming back to Kemp for the push out. And he goes low, the pass is on, Braun takes the mark.
Now that was a beautifully executed kick, Robbo.
No, he's very good, Dean Kemp. Hand awful.
He didn't allow that ball to travel more than probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 metres off the ground. And he just kept it nice and high, and he had to, because Braun was leading, and he really had to find him on the chest.
Done some hard running to get there, Michael Braun.
So Braun to put the Eagles back in front. It's a tightish angle. Not a bad-looking kick, but not good enough. So the Eagles 1-4-10, Tigers 2-3-15.
He's put on a bit of weight since last year, Michael Braun. Often guys who are that small are often, you know, a little bit too light, but he's obviously worked pretty hard in the gym over the summer.
Bowden's short kick in has been taken by Chaffee. Chaffee goes short. It's all right too. Finds Duncan Callaway. They're still inside their defensive 50. Now Duncan Callaway kicks it out wide. Bit of a helicopter punt kick. Holland couldn't take the mark. Kick forward by Harrison towards the half-forward area, and it goes over for a boundary throw in front of Philip Reid, who right now has got Nick Daffy as his immediate opponent. Matthew Knight's in the foreground with Jones.
Yeah, obviously they're making quite a few moves, Richmond, here, with Brady's gone back on Cummings, so it's probably only a set play for that kick out.
Nick Daffy just about had half a chance. Kick forward by Holland. McIntosh read that beautifully. Made a decision early. Went for the boundary line. Eventually Rogers can't quite keep it in. Boundary umpire, you see there, signalling that it is out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Tigers, about 30 metres around from their goal.
And again, young Vardy and Burke making that switch again.
Yeah, pretty important, the kick-outs, though. You know, a lot of teams can get some goals from kick-outs.
Otten's doing the ruck work. Held, but he didn't have the ball. Philip Matera gets it back to Jakovic. Jakovic can clear for the Eagles.
And 3 bounces, can keep going if he wants to. He had good support. Tiger player went down behind play. Wasn't a good kick in the end for Turnbull. Kemp tried to make something of it. Be happy to see it out of bounds.
You wonder sometimes when a player of Glenn Jakovic's experience does all the good work, runs down the ground and sets it up, then he missed his target by a big margin, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing when players work so hard to get on the end of it.
Big clearance from Turnbull, but Knights. Oh, his kick was just too low. Bowden has been a bit quieter. Jones done a good job. Going in hard again, Embley. Knights, the persistence of the Tigers, not rewarded that time. Matera just run down, got the little giveaway to the brother. Now the build-up good. Kemp gets it off. Embley off the left. It's a wobbly one. And it just had too much on it, but Braun might turn it into something. Shocking kick. Still the margin 4 points.
He's usually got a better presence of mind there, Michael Braun. Instead of throwing it on his boot, maybe there could have been a chance for a hand pass.
Yeah, although he's under a fair bit of pressure. It's interesting, last week, you know, a lot was written about Joel Bowden, and only to this point in the game, he's only had 1 touch.
Well, he was very good. Cousins, Braun, Hilton, the tackler, got to be penalised. He must be penalised. Now the advantage is with the Tides. Clinton King runs away with the ball. After a couple of bounces, kicks in towards half forward. Great spoil by McIntosh. At the fall of the ball is Rogers. Metropolis there for the Eagles. And a boundary throw-in will take place.
Tigers have made their first change tonight. You see on screen there, Matthew Knights, they're working on his right buttocks area. Obviously, he had a bit of a knock there, and young Greg Tivendale's come on for the Tigers.
Well, I think they don't lose much, the Tigers, when they use their bench. Their players are terrific pinch hitters off the bench. And Tivendale is one of those. We'll watch him with a bit of interest as Matthew Knights tries to just recover from a knock. You can see there being attended to by the training staff. Boundary umpire to throw it in. Again, about 30 metres around from Richmond's goal. Daffy got a right foot to it, kicked it high and wide over on the full. Free kick for the Eagles to be taken in that left back pocket by Metropolis.
We've got to watch that, the Eagles. They won that hit out there, Djakovic, and he belted it back into play, which gave Richmond a second chance.
Reid has been involved, not always to the Eagles' advantage so far tonight. Gets this on Gehrig, but they really haven't got a good passage into attack. That was Bitterscombe getting them to half forward. Holland standing in front, presented himself well, cleared the path. Dragicevic now, Daffy setting it up. Ottens is down there, won't quite make it that far. And the Eagles defence through Metropolis, and now Djakovic standing up well, although he ran into trouble. Oh, that was untidy. Matera, gee, that was high-risk stuff. Clearance, not really a clearance. They've got numbers and they persist in paddling it around. Metropolis again, hurried off the left. The Eagles under a bit of pressure there, under almost panic, not quite, and they were a bit lucky to get away with it.
Look at the coach.
He nearly knocked out, I think, Clinton King with that kick, but Metropolis having a great game. Rogers kicked 5 goals last week, and Metropolis just wearing him like a glove.
Well, shark by Matera. Djakovic having to do a lot of the ruck work. They're pushing forward, but as you can see, the Tigers overlapping their defenders. Oh, Callaway went for the boundary line. He might just get it. No, he didn't. Oh, Gardner, I'm not sure if he really tried to keep it in there or not.
I don't think he realised, perhaps.
I think he should have.
Yeah, well, I don't think he realised. I think he thought maybe there was someone on his tail there.
I think it's also part of being 6'6". Pretty difficult to get down there. He's got big, long legs.
Still the Eagles a chance. Fletcher. And Braun seeing it over the line and out of bounds again.
The Eagles now have made a change too. Chad Fletcher comes on for Ryan Turnbull. Obviously, Ken Judge felt that they were perhaps a bit too tall in that forward half.
Gardner and a mismatch against Harrison. Harrison competed well. Bitterscombe escaping with it. His handball in the end was okay. Tawney just grabbed it onto his boot.
This bloke's in for a night.
Yeah, Matera, Tivendale watching him. Oh, it's a wobbly one. Made it tough for Fletcher. Eventually Djakovic can unload. Goes Cummings' direction, in good position. He stayed. He kept his footing, Cummings. He'll have to be quick if he gets it. Oh, he ran around the ball instead of running over it. He was probably thinking about his next move rather than the first move, which is to win the footy, and it's out again.
It's really interesting. The Eagles are putting Richmond under a fair bit of pressure from time to time, but their kicking skills are really letting them down. They're kicking to contest when there's free man and kicking balls along the ground.
Well, Gardner again got the knock, Fletcher, but Tigers have this line. Vardy, one of his first kicks in AFL footy, got it out wide. It was his first kick. King gets it back to Tivendale. That's a scrappy old kick, and that time Metropolis it is that does the watching as it goes out of bounds.
Tivendale just on screen a moment or so ago. The Tigers fans, they haven't started anywhere near as excitingly as they did last week against Geelong, but you can't be pumped, I guess, week in, week out. And they are missing Brendan Gale, who was a last-minute withdrawal. Broderick missed his target too, which the intended target was Clinton King. And the boundary umpire will throw it in. Still Matthew Knights.
It's interesting. The number of times the ball's been inside 50, Richmond 11, and the West Coast Eagles 10.
So the Eagles just 1 goal from those 10 entries, and the Tigers have kicked a couple from their 11 entries into the forward 50. 15 plays 11, Richmond lead by 4 points. Joel Bowden, you mentioned Jimmy's had 1 kick and 1 hand pass, so pretty quiet at the start of this match.
Yeah, absolutely, and also I'd say that the quality of the ball inside 50 is not very good, and that's
fair point.
One of the reasons why there's only 3 goals kicked.
Daffy kicks the ball forward, not quite taken by Crabb, but he fed it off to Fletcher. Fletcher's kick into the middle. The crumbs are going to be gathered by Braun. Gets it back to Reid. Reid short, not too bad, and Rintoul is marked. He can give the hand pass to Kemp, who uses the ball pretty well. Left foot kick is a beauty. Not having to change stride, it was perhaps a little high, but the big man down there, Gardner, had every opportunity there. Dean Kemp set it up beautifully.
And they're playing them really, really well. You know, they've obviously told them to play forward as much as you can and get that mismatch. So it'll be interesting to see what Richmond are going to do now.
Gardner going for his second goal. He's missed. by a fair margin, off to the right. 1 goal, 1 to Michael Gardner. So they're getting it up there. They're having the opportunities. Kicking inaccurately. That looks like Jones has come off.
No, it's Crab, Robbo. He's come off, and
Thanks,
young Josh
Richard.
Wooden's just come on for the Eagles.
Thanks, Richard. Josh Wooden, who came into this side at the expense of David Warapunda.
Well, can Matera make Bowden hurt? Let's have a look at the pass. It's not bad. And he gets brother Phillip, who's in prime scoring position. Darren Crocker, Danny Frawley, obviously none too pleased. When you think about it, though, Richmond are without Gale, Gasper, Campbell, Richardson and Miranda. That is 5 of probably their top 7 players. 7 or 8 players. Of course, the Eagles losing Rapunda and McKenna and also Banfield and Mitchell White. So they've also got 4 of their top players out. That time, no mistake.
Well, it's the old story, Hutto, though. If you had to watch Richmond last week, you wouldn't have said they were missing all those blokes. You would have said, gee, how good is this team and how good are all these young players?
They were passionate, weren't they?
Yeah, and all the set, like Duffy, who you expect to be one of their best players, he wasn't even in it last week. They had something like 4 or 5 players who had over 20 possessions, a half back line, averaging 25 possessions. But tonight, they just don't seem to have the same zip as they did.
Well, Philip Matera, the goal kicker. West Coast lead by 3 points. We're close to quarter time. Only 4 goals in the first term so far. Gardner gets it down. Gathered by Jones. Tackled by Callaway. Still a disputed ball. The 2 Callaways. You'd reckon one was bad enough. But when you go in after the footy and you're confronted by both of them, it's a pretty tough task to come away cleanly with the ball.
He's doing well, Gardner, now, because Richmond were getting a bit of an ascendancy with Ottens at centre bounces.
Umpires are Ray Kelsey, Brett Allen and Stephen Hanley. Ottens, Daffy. Daffy throws it onto his boot quickly. Mark taken by Morrison away from Kivendale. Gets the hand pass back to Metropolis. Looked maybe to bounce, but then decided to go long. Kicked in the direction of Gardner. He judged it awfully. Hand pass away. King was on the receiving end of the Bitterscombe handball. Vardy, well done. Good kick too. Puts a lot of pressure back there on the Eagles' defence. Rogers off the ground, has kicked the goal.
Well,
Matthew Rogers gets his first goal of the game.
Well, sorry about that, Rollo, but it's the old story. If you get accurate, then you make the opposition think and have to make moves. Like Gardner down the other end misses a goal, so they don't really have to do anything. But you'll see it here, the balls come in. Rogers, Metropolis, good contest. But with his right foot, he's got it on that half volley. It's a beautiful soccer goal.
The lead continuing to change hands here late in the first quarter.
Gee, the kick by Vardy was terrific. Just put the pressure back on the Eagles' defence, well within scoring distance for Rogers.
And Otten's doing the rucking and roving again, getting them going in the last minute of the first quarter. That time, Fiora coming on the ground, trying to create an opportunity for Rogers. Caught. 30 seconds to go, so still time. Fiora might get it free for that, he will.
Oh, that was crude by Morrison.
Wasn't good, was it? In a tight situation. And he's going to unload. 15 seconds left, still a marking chance down there for Ben Holland. Just couldn't get boot to ball. Dragicevic, did he keep it in? No, surely it's hit the behind post. It's a behind. So that will be the last score, you would think, of the first quarter, with just 7 seconds left on the clock, and a 4-point lead to the Tigers. Metropolis kicking in, and Morrison will take it all the way. And the siren sounds for quarter time. So I'm not sure if we know a lot more than what we did when the ball was bounced. We know that Richmond lead by 4 points, but the Eagles certainly had their opportunities up forward and lead 3-4 to 2-6, Jimmy Steins.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would probably say the real difference here in the centre, Richmond are getting on top. Ottens is pretty good at those centre bounces, and you know, they've taken the ball out of there 5 times to West Coast 1. But overall, I think West Coast probably should have made more of their opportunities, Robbo. You know, they're getting the ball, they've been inside 50 probably just nearly as many times, but they're just not, the quality of delivery is not great.
Well, low scoring, you have to really post the ones that are sort of we'd classify as reasonable chances, you must convert.
Absolutely.
Plenty to think about then for both coaches. The Tigers lead by 4 at Colonial at quarter time.
When coaches have something to say, you'll hear it live on Football Feedback.
My ego says I want to get out there and rant and rave and do all the things that coaches do.
Well done, Demons! The good thing about the win on the weekend was we can actually bury 1999.
Just on a more personal note, do you have any sympathy for... Yeah, you and I do personally. Well, a little intimate, let's say.
Up close and very personal. Football Feedback, live, 7:30 Monday night.
Dear Harshby, here's a picture of me before my big game. Can't wait for you to see it. From Timmy.
Can't do it in life? Do it on the web with the power of the Pentium 3 processor. And find out about a unique service for Pentium 3 processor owners at intel.com.au.
The 2000 European PGA Tour.
That was only playing one place, the bottom of the cup.
Friday afternoon at 4:30 on C7 Sport.
It looks good. It's very good. It's outstanding.
That could be a costly miss.
Exclusive highlights of the Benson & Hedges Invitational Open.
My goodness, did you see that? And something again puts him off.
Beautifully struck. The European PGA Tour continues Friday afternoon at 4:30 on C7 Sport.
So a cool night at Colonial Stadium. The roof is open though. The rain we had earlier today in Melbourne cleared away. And at quarter time, well, tough one to pick as to which way it's going to go. For Richmond, 3-4-22, Rogers, Daffy, Holland, Gardner and Matera for the Eagles, and they're 2-6-18.
The Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season 2000. Brought to you by Harvey Norman. The new 3-litre turbo diesel patrol. Just wait till you drive it. And the bank that helps businesses make it happen.
Richard Osborne, who's with Peter German.
Well, Pete, Judge, you had plenty to say at quarter time. Happy with the boys so far?
Yeah, look, it's been a fairly positive start. You know, we've probably wasted a couple of opportunities, you know, kicking 2-6 and probably allowed them a couple of easy goals, but certainly we're happy with the start.
And a low-scoring contest so far, does that suit you boys?
Yeah, that does, you know. I think that means we're working really hard with our second efforts and tackling, and that's what we've really worked on this week, so it's good that everything so far is working to plan.
Thanks, Pete.
Peter German, one of the assistants, or the key assistant at the West Coast Eagles.
Just while we've got a little bit of a lull before the quarter starts, the Tigers do have black armbands in respect for Gordon Wood, who was a doorman at Richmond. He was the father of Brian Wood, who was a champion player for Richmond and Essendon, of course, and then did a lot of running for Kevin Sheedy over the years. But his dad, Gordon, passed away, so condolences are sent to the family.
Just on Peter German's comments, it's interesting, a low-scoring game will suit West Coast because with Richmond the way they are and the way they can play, they could just kick 5 goals, 6, 7 goals in a quarter. And really for them to be competitive over here in Melbourne, they've just got to contain the game and then work their opponents over, work them over and get that near the end.
And hope their efficiency up forward can win them the game. Let's start this second quarter then.
And the other thing, Jimmy, with a low-scoring contest, the key on the road when you're playing out of your home state is trying to keep the crowd noise and influence down. And with that low-scoring contest, that will occur.
Yep. Well, there's not too many Eagles supporters here, but enough to make a little bit of a noise.
Well, one thing you can say about Colonial, it is very noisy, particularly when the roof is closed, but even when it's open, it does keep the noise in. Broderick, Bowden just looked like he was thinking ahead of his boots on that occasion. Good work from Wooden to take it to the line, and it's over and out. It was a late inclusion.
I bet you that gets a rev in booted mouth, Hutto, thinking in front of his boots.
Thanks for reminding me.
Good on you. Good on you.
Didn't quite come out the way it was meant to. Jagovic's kick went nowhere. Reed close to the line. Again, Bowden trying to just tuck it under the arm and couldn't. Daffy squeezed something out of that. Knight's got it to ground. Was that a free? No, it wasn't. Hilton trying to get around on his right side, was gone. And must be a free kick to the West Coast. It will be.
It's interesting with Bowden. He's getting his hands on a footy, but he's so many times getting tackled and getting dispossessed before he gets a touch.
Cousins, who had 4 touches in the first quarter, so a little quiet. Delivery was excellent that time. A little pat on the head from Knights for Gehrig. Now he's got a little bit of an open forward line for Cummings, and he goes for him. Burke used his leap, made the spoil. Vardy on the clean-up. This is Knights. The build-up better now. Chappie running with a bit of space ahead. Oh, no, he didn't see Crabb. Crabb just came on the bench, off the bench and went straight into the space. Well done. Wooden, Kemp. Let's look at the delivery. Pretty tough for him to find some space. Goes long for Cummings, and down there, just couldn't take it. Tawney will take it over and out. So a 4-point ball game. Simmons warming up, as you can see the rest of the bench. So a 4-point lead still to the Tigers. Gardner again pushing forward, tried to feed it off Embley. Harrison, Embley kept on going, but Vardy's been all right so far. Chappie, clearing kick. Rogers is going to have to beat 2 Eagles. Rintoul get there first. Got Metropolis in support, but he really didn't support him that well. He just kicked it quickly, and Chappie takes the mark.
I reckon the runner was nearly on Rintoul's tail there to take him off the ground, because you mentioned about Simmons being ready to come on. King kicks it in towards the middle. Broderick feeds it off. He missed his target. King able to gather. Back to Harrison. Harrison's kick, he's coughed it up.
Shocking.
Just coughed it up and put it on the chest of Morrison. I don't quite know whether I'm seeing things, but I reckon at this ground, over the 8 or 9 weeks that we've been watching football, I've never seen as much mishitting of targets, handball and kicking. Maybe the players just getting used to the surface of the stadium. Kick forward, Jones to Embley. Embley deep in the pocket. He's 50 metres from goal. He manufactured something, kicking into the goal square, and eventually the free kick is paid to. Tawney gathered the ball, but it's going back to, and it may even be taken by Tawney in the finish right in the goal square.
Why wasn't that the advantage paid there?
Yes, it's a questionable thing as far as decisions that are made like that.
On a mark, I think sometimes they go...
He paid the free kick though.
There's a push out by Wooten. It's not paid, and the umpire giving the OK for the boundary umpire to throw it in just forward of centre wing, favouring the West Coast Eagles. Watch this push out here. Tried to make it look worse than it was, and I think it
was a bit of a push though.
You fall for the 3-card trick there, because the umpires generally ignore that. Gee, terrific running and gathering by Hilton. Hilton kicks in towards full forward. No mark. The ball spills to the back of the pack. The race is on. Wooden taken to the ground by Dragicevic and push in the back according to the umpire. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I thought Wooden was going to ground when he gathered the ball.
Yeah, it's always a hard one as a forward defender if you're coming in on a player. If he's going to go down, let him go, let him fall. Just keep a hand on him.
Yeah, that was the mistake he made, wasn't it then? Because I think you're right, Rob. I Wooden definitely went. He went to ground first, but then Dragicevic. Well, it wasn't that bad a tackle, was it?
It wasn't. There wasn't a free kick there.
No, I agree.
Paul Simmons finally come on for the Eagles. Andrew Embley, the man he's replaced.
Jakovic shoving and pushing with Holland. Crabb, oh, he was well tackled and a little lucky. Oh, dangerous handball. Reid, he just gave it to Simmons, who did pretty well in the end just to get boot to ball. Holland was courageous. That was just hurled out of the pack. Vardy, creative. Knights, usually penetrating. Good kick, and gets Ottens in prime position to score a goal.
Hasn't Vardy shown enough to suggest that he belongs out there in senior footy?
Yeah, he's very composed, getting around the football. So here he's been acknowledged by his teammates, but just the composure of Knights, like most players would have gone for goal there.
Oh,
he just had a look.
Matthew, isn't he? He's got terrific peripheral vision, I reckon.
Yeah, good point, Jimmy. What we saw there is 10 plus years of experience, as you said. A young player may have just seen those big six and just blasted for it, but Matthew Knights, just fantastic poise.
You would have, Ozzy, wouldn't you? You would have gone for goal.
Oh,
no doubt, Hutto.
Would he ever?
10 times out of 10.
Otten should goal from here, and does. Good kick, and the Tigers extend their lead.
And when players kick that strike, then it rewards the kicker, and the kicker will do it again and again. And it's always a safer. To kick from 30 rather than 40 or 50, well, you're going to be a better chance.
Turnover in the middle here. Cousins maybe. if he saw that again, he wouldn't take that option, would he, Ben?
In a congested area, you should just get the ball on long. And as you see here, Knight's just hung back. Beautiful little kick there to Ottens, and McIntosh obviously thought he was going to go long.
Richmond 4-4 lead the West Coast 2-6. Still not a big margin, only 10 points. Oh, brilliant by Matera to Kemp, to half-forward Gehrig. Could have nearly got a free kick for holding. Chaffee, Hilton, across that half-back line. They're away the Tigers. Clinton King running down close to the wing. Kicks to a one-on-one, but it's a great mark taken by Ottens in front. He's already looming as a real threat for the West Coast Eagles, Brad Ottens. Wooden gets back, gets the hand pass back to Morrison. Morrison kicks the ball out towards the wing. Gardner. Crumbs could be gathered here by Philip Matera. Duncan Callaway there, but it will be thrown in just forward of centre wing, favouring the Tigers.
Just want to go back, that centre bounce was unbelievable. Great hit out there by Gardner. Matera just came in. They got that down. They should have got more out of it if Gehrig had taken that mark.
Kemp well tackled. Just a disputed ball there. David Burke was the tackler on Dean Kemp. He's come a long way down, David Burke. It looks as though he might be playing across the half-back line now. Picking up Gardner when Gardner goes forward. No, he's lost his man, actually, David Burke, in that little disputed situation. Peter Matera gets the kick off the side of his boot. Simmons beaten for it. Knights did well. Callaway strong in close. Duncan Callaway kicks it forward. Dragicevic made a contest out of it. Still Dragicevic. Left foot snapshot for goal. Brings the house down at Colonial. Mark Dragicevic goal. Terrific play by a young man, and he's done enough there to kick Richmond's 5th goal.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a little bit quiet, but as you'll see the play here, Richmond just got it out of it from the contest. Got it across, probably a free kick for Knights. I think the umpire probably just said play on. And Knights just around the body, left foot, just squeezed it in.
Beautiful kick.
So a real challenge here now for Ken Judge and the Eagles. After Richmond, they've kicked the first 2 in this quarter. Alton's got first hands on that, and the Tigers are up and about. So the Eagles need to tighten up. As Peter German said at quarter time, they want to keep it fairly low scoring.
And particularly those centre bounces, that's really where Richmond had the initiative in the first quarter. And because of Otten's height difference, they've really got to be competitive around the ball. He's not going to, obviously he's going to win most of them, so they need to be able to combat that.
Now it's a poor bounce, but Otten's competitive.
It's interesting that when it's a bad bounce and the ruckman goes up, he has to make a decision: will I grab it or will I tap it? And when his players are all out of position as receivers, sometimes you're going to see ruckman just belting it forward, but often that's not the right thing to do because you've got opposition players just hanging back for the easy one.
Well, Jakovic was in the ruck that time, and it came to him by Matera. Not much delivery again, and Burke, who's done well when he's led, coming to the ball, must get a free there, high tackle. Again, he went to ground. David Burke.
He's quite smart there, Burke, and he's dropped.
Although that wasn't so smart, eventually gets away with it. Callaway takes a long time, trying to spot something out, and it's a good kick in the end. And this man is a potential absolute sensation.
Impressive last week.
He's already very, very good.
3rd mark, 6 hit-outs and a goal.
And plenty of penetration. Hilton, an unlikely fall! Oh, he leapt high. Matera, as we get our breath back after that leap.
He'll be cursing himself for dropping that.
Braun, that could have bought him $20,000 cash at the end of the year. And it might have provided a Richmond goal as well. Instead, the Eagles into attack. Tough for Cummings there, had 2 to beat. Braun getting up and ganging up. Let's have a look at the leap of the year so far. Just couldn't bring it down. Might have hurt himself a little bit too as he came crashing down. So the Eagles in attack, but trailing by 16. Gardner, lovely knock. Matera does well. Had time. And then he let himself down. He took the extra time. And the Eagles rattled and really needed that one.
He did the smart thing there. He was about to kick, realised he was free, took the extra step. It's just a very, very poor kick.
Short kick by David Burke has found Broderick, still inside his defensive 50. Further down the line to Tawney. No one really to kick to. Andrew Kellaway away from Chad Morrison, closer to the middle of the ground. Tawney looking. Now he decides to go across that half-back line and does it well. Eventually finds Andrew Kellaway. He's got Harrison in the middle of the ground. Harrison will be a target. And that's the player that he kicks it to. Runs on, kicks it to Hilton. Hilton must have run from the half-back line. He's 50 metres from goal, Rory Hilton. Gets around and then thumps it towards the goal square. Contest, no, there's none. McIntosh mark was a good mark. Gehrig receives. Goes down the line. Making good position as Philip Matera. Hasn't really got anyone to kick to.
I'll tell you there with McIntosh there, Ottens came too far up the ground trying to get a kick. He was up on the wing and he had to get all the way down to the goal square, and he was too tired by the time the ball came down there, and that's why he didn't provide a good contest.
He's kicked this to a 1-on-3. Gardner's outpointed by Vardy. Well done. Gee, that'll do his confidence no harm whatsoever. Chaffee across the full back line, and the mark is taken by Hilton, who took a couple of marks up on the half-forward line during this quarter. Short kick to Harrison.
This is exactly what Harrison should be doing, is getting around. This is in the last couple of minutes taking 2 marks, just getting in and becoming that link player through the middle.
Big punch from the Eagles half-back. Rintoul, Dean Kemp.
They've got nothing at half-forward though, West Coast, nothing.
2-on-6. And it'll be just straightforwardly mopped up at half-back by Harrison.
He goes wide, good delivery to Knights. Now he looks up, he's got Daffy inboard, can take it and run. Although the Eagles have pushed an extra man across half-back as well. So he goes to the next line with a big, big kick. Burke well up the ground. They're really switching it around and trying to run Scotty Cummings all over the place.
Well, you talk about them not having anyone at centre forward. They've put Gardner up there, but I don't think he's the answer. Too tall, not quick enough when the ball hits the ground. And Fraser Geary, they've put back to centre back.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's following who at the moment, all around the ground. Another opportunity for the Tigers. So halfway through this second quarter, and Richmond have kicked 2 goals, and the Eagles nil in this quarter.
I think they're actually trying to get Jakovic to go to centre forward. His opponent in Callaway is just running forward.
Holland against no one in the end. Bitterscombe's not a bad kick usually. He's given that a fair old hike. Into the square. Tigers had numbers. No mark though. Ottens is persistent. Dragicevic well wrapped up. And it's over the line and out of bounds. They've got some spirit about them though, Richmond, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they're not going to give this away too easy, and they're well in front, 3 goals. But obviously when you're playing against the Eagles, you know they can turn it on at any time.
Well, Kemp trying to break away from the full back line. Metropolis gets the hand pass wide. Gehrig spins straight into a Dragicevic tackle. Gathered by King. Has a bit of a look. Throws it on the side of his boot. Kicks towards half forward. Contest. Bitterscombe. Handball. What's that been deemed?
Throw advantage.
A throw, so the free kick will be taken for the West Coast Eagles by McIntosh.
But there's another one where they could have played the advantage. As you'll see here, just sort of handball it out, open hand.
McIntosh
were away.
Between fullback and centre halfback. Morrison short, but he decides to go long into the centre of the ground. Gardner couldn't take the mark. The ball at ground level mopped up by the Tigers. Tivendale to the playmaker in Knights. Knights out wide, terrific kick again. The big fellow with the ball kicked in front of his face is extremely difficult to get the ball knocked away from.
Oh, definitely. Long arms, longer reach. As you'll see here, and he's strong too, he's got a good upper body, good strong shoulder, so he can fend off any aggressive punch from a defender.
Not big stats by Ben Holland. He has kicked 1 goal, so this to just stretch the lead to nearly 4 goals. He kicks and kicks beautifully. Kicks beautifully for a goal.
Well, if you're kicking a goal a quarter, you don't need to have too many stats, Robbo. And particularly from your centre forward. That's really what you want him doing. It's no point coming up the ground and taking marks around the middle. If you can get him around the 50-metre line or just inside, and you're a good kick outside 50, well, you're going to be kicking goals every week, and that's what Holland's done this 2 weeks in a row.
Matthew Knight's 11 possessions. He's got a good action, hasn't he? Good, strong action, Ben Holland, a goal. Judgy and Robert Wiley in the coach's box for the Eagles. They're yet to kick a goal in this term.
No, and we're into the last 7.5 minutes of this quarter, and they're dominating. Good work, Morrison, to try and halt the Tiger move into attack, but Daffy's still able to get them clear. Reed, he'll look up, and he won't see much on offer. Tigers have pushed back across half-back very well. Cummings came from a long way back. Tawney, he rode the bump well. That's a good tackle, though. The Eagles doing well. Can Cummings straighten up this time? No. Or has he? No, he hasn't. They're behind. And they really needed a goal.
Actually, we've mentioned Vardy quite a few times. It looks like he's now been put on Djakovic. Centre half back.
Well, Holland went a long way up the ground, didn't he, to try and take that mark. It's a loose player, or a couple across centre half forward, and one of them, Braun, takes the mark.
They'd be worried the West Coast that Cousins can't get into the play. He's only had 7 possessions. He's usually up around closer to 15 in half a game.
I'd be worried. Fraser Gehrig has now gone on to Ottens.
Even Kemper's down. Like, I know he's had 9 possessions, but still, last week he had 33. It's about 16 and a half.
They need a goal here.
Well, he's outside 50, as you can see. Tough to make the distance, it won't. So 2-8 now, playing 6-4.
It actually took too long to get back because he had 3 Eagles players deep in the forward line there, and there was only 1 Richmond player on them. And that's where you just got to get back quickly.
10 scoring shots apiece, but Richmond lead by 20 points. They've been inside their forward 50 on 7 occasions in this term. The West Coast Eagles have been in 9 times, but you can see that when they go in, it's just being mopped up beautifully by the Tigers at ground level.
Also, the marking difference is 17 marks to Richmond, only 6 to West Coast.
Ruck contest. Gardner gets his left hand to it. Taken by Bowden. Djakovic there for the Eagles. Not clear by Braun. Hilton gathers. Doesn't quite know where to kick the ball to. Eventually coughs it up. Kemp made a terrific effort to mark the ball. And if he had it would have been a free shot at goal. Now the umpire's found a free kick. It'll go to the Richmond side to be taken by Vardy.
Gee, and they all sprint off half-back. One of them is Andrew Callaway. Tough bounce for him. Paddles it, Daffy. Gets them out wide. Hilton, good run for the Tigers. Can he finish well? The pass is not bad. It was right out in front. Then Rogers, who wanted to go off straight away, might be 50 if he's not careful, Metropolis.
I thought he did that pretty well, Daniel Metropolis, by grabbing him by the arm.
Yeah, it was smart play by Metropolis. If he didn't grab him, Matthew Rogers was off and running.
Hilton's had a great quarter. 7 kicks, 2 marks.
Well, he loads it up right to the line. Oh, Gehrig got the body in the right place. Who? Yeah, I think that was the right call.
McIntosh just got his foot to it before Ottens.
Gehrig seemed to get his body in the right place to make the spoil. Brought it to the ground, but then left the square open for the chance for a Tiger goal, but not quite.
McIntosh with the ball. A lot of indecision from Ashley McIntosh.
He wants to go long.
And he's decided to do just that. Hilton couldn't take the mark. Beaten for it was Embley. Knights to Tivendale. Tivendale, a long kick. It's touched by McIntosh. It may have hit the post, according to the goal umpire. Another behind for the Tigers. This time it's Greg Tivendale who gets into the action.
Well, the last goal from the Eagles was 27 minutes in the first quarter. So they've gone nearly a quarter without scoring a goal. And at the moment they don't look like it. Head down, Hilton. Well done, Kemp, just to get boot to ball. But the Tigers are building a wall, and they're almost impenetrable at the moment. Knight gets Holland. Oh, well run down. The Eagles are trying hard, but nothing will go their way. Cousins got the feedback. Reed. Nothing really through centre half forward. Again, the numbers with Richmond. Tawney caught. Well tackled Peter Matera. Braun, can he just create a goal? He handballs. It was tough for Philip Matera. This would be a great goal. It was. A great kick under pressure. They almost invented that goal, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's just so good in close when it's tight material, and he's an opportunist, and he'll always kick you a few goals. And they're just when they need it, like they were drifting out of the game.
Well, 16 points is not impossible, is it?
No, not at all.
Low scoring, you only need just some sort of a run on. You kick 2 successive goals and there's less than a goal in it.
As you'll see here, just his evasive skills there.
Very good, wasn't he? He kicked a couple. Well, Vardy has come off for Andrew Kellaway, and Turnbull, see there Leon Cameron, playing or matching up at the moment on Glenn Jakovic. Good bounce by the central umpire, brilliantly gathered by Peter Matera, kicks it forward, bouncing ball, very awkward, gathered there by Tawney, tackled by Cummings, gathered by Kemp, hand pass at the back, well gathered Cameron, very skillfully done Leon Cameron, David Burke out wide, and he did well, found his target, which was Ottens, hand pass, goes to King, King looking to give it off, kick smothered off the boot, so it's play on, Holland dispossessed. Peter Matera gets back to help out that half-back line. Braun and Wooden, then Simmons, then Garrick caught, got the handball away. Watch Knights, will he get caught? No handball. Braun on Tivendale, still Tivendale, back to King. King a high ball into the pocket. No mark taken, the ball spills to the back of the pack. Chance for Ottens, handball missed its target, which was intended for Dragicevic. The ball's still alive for the Tigers in their left forward pocket. Dragicevic, watch Nick Daffy. He kicks these, doesn't he? He kicks these goals, Nick Daffy.
That is sensational.
2 goals to Daffy. And the Tigers get the answering goal they were looking for after the Eagles took most of the quarter to get their 3rd goal of the scoreboard. Richmond 7-6 lead, the West Coast 3-8.
Well, we talked earlier in the game saying that Duffy wasn't playing quite up to his standard. Well, today he's certainly quieting some of his critics. He's had 12 possessions already and kicked a couple of goals, and that was a superb goal from the pocket.
Nick Daffy having his best game for more than a month. Gardner, as we said, looked proppy, and he is off the ground. And the Eagles are under all sorts of pressure now. Turnbull into the ruck. And Richmond through Harrison, going forward again. Callaway and Knights, he's been creative. He has had a lot of it, 14 touches. Garrick, recovered in the end, but made it tough for Simmons, who set up his teammate, put him under all sorts of pressure. And Callaway, Bitterscombe, Tigers deep into attack again. It's a bouncing ball. Matera conceding, as well he might. Feeling the pressure now, West Coast. They were trounced by Melbourne just a couple of weeks ago here.
The kick in is directed at and found Morrison. Got the hand pass off. Fletcher gets past his opponent. Further down the ground, kicks towards half forward. Oh, Philip Matera, the high flyer. Crumbs gathered by Hilton. He's been tremendous across that half-back line. And the left foot kick was all right too. And it finds Bitterscombe. Bitterscombe kicks it out wide into the path of Chaffee. Chaffee on his left, which is his preferred. Kicks it towards half forward. Crumbs at the front of the pack. Gathered by Rogers out wide. Chance for Richmond now right up onto their full forward area. Dragicevic bumped off the ball. And Chet Fletcher eventually taking it over for a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for the Tigers. They lead 7-7 to 3-8. It's only a 23-point margin, but I think the Eagles would be concerned about the fact that they've only kicked 3 goals in nearly half a game.
They would, and also they'd be concerned about their half-forward line. Like, they put Jakovic up there, but it obviously hasn't made a difference. As you see here, we got the blood rule.
Well, Richmond's half-back line last week was just enormous, fantastic. And again tonight, guys like Hilton, Bitterscombe, of course, Callaway, who pretty much runs everywhere, and now they've thrown Cameron back there. just been fantastic.
But with Djakovic, he's got to go a little bit deeper. I think his strength is his marking. And he's got to be a bit deeper than Hurt, or else these guys are just going to keep running off, and Callaways and Leon Camerons and Burks and so on.
Well, we're back underway, and Orton's providing Holland with a bouncing shot, and the Tigers can do no wrong. I know it's the way of modern footy, Jimmy, but it still amazes me today how often an open goal square at a boundary throw and the ball just bounces through.
Yeah, well, obviously, players have got to be accountable, and what the Eagles have done here is they've manned every player up, which just allowed an open goal square, particularly when you're ruckman, your full back is trying to contest, and just a great play, particularly for Holland, who's a big guy, to be crumbing another big guy and kicking a goal. But while this is happening, Djakovic has now gone to full forward, and Cummings has come out to centre-half forward.
Well, they did well, didn't they? The two young big men who have been thrown extra responsibility by the fact that Brendan Gale is not in this Richmond lineup. They'll go forward again from the centre bounce. Broderick on the end of a little play there, kicks it to the square. Oh! That's a goal by Rogers.
Well, I thought he could have even got a free kick because he was being held there by Metropolis, but he did that very, very well. He's an opportunist. He's already kicked one in the first quarter where he kicked it off the ground. And you see the ball coming in here again. Just shepherded it beautifully.
Gee, didn't he do it right?
Got it down on his right foot. But this is the thing, we were talking about the game being kept close in a low-scoring first quarter, but now, Robbo, Richmond have just opened it up.
They've kicked 6 goals to 1.
Harrison off, looks like he's got some upper leg trouble. Is it a hammy?
It looks like it.
Well, they're no good hammies.
Yeah. So the Tigers on fire. They have blasted the Eagles away in this quarter. 6 goals to 1. Holland's kick went sideways. Morrison can really open things up through the middle. He's going to go low. It went to Philip Matera, who's got to play against 3 Tigers, and one of them is direct opponent.
I think the message would go out. I mean, it's not working kicking high to the forward line. They've just got to try and keep it around a bit.
Plus, Djakovic led out to the other side.
I mean, they've kicked the ball through Philip Matera 4 or 5 times, expecting him to take a high mark. Well, he's just not going to be able to do that in that situation. This is young Royce Vardy onto the wing. Daffy has had 12 touches tonight. Wasn't great on the delivery front on that occasion. Matera, well shepherded by Reed. Metropolis. That's pretty good delivery. Turnbull, oh, he has to kick it quickly. And really his disposals, he's just a little slow. Bowden has been relatively quiet. Andrew Callaway spoiled by the bell. The Eagles saved by the bell. Callaway actually kicked it through for a goal, but it was definitely after the siren. So, at half-time, the Richmond faithful delighted. 6 goals to 1 they booted in that quarter. And really, it's going to be difficult to see the Eagles getting back from here. Richmond threw 3 goals to Ben Holland, 2 to Daffy and Rogers. And they're all just 2 goals to Peter Matera and 1 to Gardner for the Eagles. The Tigers in command at Colonial. What a quarter of football it was by Richmond on this very cool but fine night. And as you can see, in the second quarter they kicked 6 goals 3, and the West Coast Eagles could manage just 1 goal 2. Well, it's hard to see the West Coast Eagles getting back into it as we have a look at the goal kickers, because they just haven't been able to get enough goals up forward. Matera, really their lone hand up forward. Cummings a little inaccurate with his couple of shots at goal. On the other hand, Ben Holland has kicked 3 goals and Nick Daffy has kicked 2. Robbo, as we have a look through the highlights and the key points, I guess, from the first half, we'll start by having a look at young Royce Vardy, because he's been a revelation for them in his first game. We saw last night a young guy from St Kilda play a good first-up game, but Vardy's been excellent as well.
Well, this kick was terrific because it put that last line of defence of the Eagles under pressure. Rogers seizing on the opportunity, kicking it off the ground and it rolling through for a goal. But their midfield, I mean, Hilton has been tremendous from half-back. Matthew Knight's the playmaker, sets up so many forward moves, and on that occasion he got the ball down to Brad Ottens. And Brad Ottens, without Brendan Gale, who didn't take his place in the side, Brad Ottens was forced to play forward early, then went into the ruck, and he's always presented himself, and with young Holland, they've both been tremendous for the Tigers in the first half.
It's been a real struggle for the West Coast Eagles to kick goals. They did manage one in the second quarter and one only. Let's have a look at it here. They really have had to work really hard, and they did on this occasion, but they haven't had a system, have they, Robbo?
You know, in dispute, I just saw a stat before, and we'll have a look at them on the screen later, but in dispute they've had 47 possessions. The Tigers have had 71, and I think that tells the story of the game. They've just been a little bit more precise in tight and in and under. When you've got Duncan Callaway and Andrew Callaway as negators around the midfield, they've got plenty of flair. As I mentioned with Matthew Knights, they've got plenty of opportunities to kick a score that will win the game.
They've kicked some great goals too, haven't they, the Tigers? Yep. From the boundary line. Daffy, we see here, will kick this goal, and really that's really lifted them too, hasn't it, with a great run on play.
I think, Anthony, that they're just trying as hard as they can to get Nick Daffy into the play. I think they can see that he's exhilarating, and when he gets a chance and kicks a goal, that livens everyone up. Watch this one. Matthew Rogers just took that opportunity, didn't he? I mean, he was dragged to the ground. I think Jimmy Steins thought that it could have been nearly a free kick, but the umpire let play go on, and Matthew Rogers hooked it out of mid-air and went through for a goal. All happening for the Tigers.
You mentioned Ottens too, and he and Holland have provided great targets up forward. And on this occasion, they combined together.
Oh, well, they did it well. And the other thing there, I mean, for a big fellow, he's probably 6'5" or something, Ben Holland. Brad Ottens got the congratulations, but wasn't it skillful for a big bloke to throw it on his boot and just bouncing through for a goal? Beautiful stuff.
Well, one player who I'm sure the Tigers would like to have out there, although they're doing pretty well without him tonight, is Wayne Campbell, and he's down on the boundary line with Aussie. How are you, Wayne, and how are you, Aussie?
Good, mate. Wayne, a bit cool down here at half-time, but no doubt the Tigers were red hot that quarter, 6-1.
Yeah, they did very well. They ran the ball pretty hard, and I think they've got plenty of space in the forward line, so it's cool down here, but it's pretty hot up in that coach's box, I can tell you.
How's Danny going up there?
No, he's keeping his cool very well, but no, a lot of input from the other boys, but no, you wouldn't think we were 5 goals up. I assume we're about 10 goals down the way they coach up there, but it's, no, it's very interesting.
And Matty Knight's playing a fantastic skipper's game tonight.
Yeah, I think he tightened up in that first quarter. I think he had a bit of a tight glute or something like that, but since he come back on, he was tremendous.
Wayne, it is a bit of a cliche when injured players are out that it gives other players opportunity, but gee, to say that the young players have really stepped up, we'd be underestimating it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, they've been fantastic since Matthew and myself have been out, and Darren Gasper as well, so no, they've just taken their chance, and yeah, might struggle to get back in, us older fellas.
Hey Wayne, you're on television and there's a lot of Richmond fans watching. What's your stage right now? When will you be back playing with the Tigers?
Yeah, hopefully next week, Robbo. I had a bit of a run today and I've ran most of the week, so just have to get one full week of training on the track with the boots on and everything, which hopefully will be this week.
Well, young Royce Vardy, first game, he looks quite accomplished. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, played, I think, for Port Melbourne Reserves last year, but come through and played a few games in the VFL this year. And then, yeah, just done everything right in the VFL, so he's got his chance, and he's played pretty well tonight.
Well, you'll be back next week in the VFL yourself. Good luck, and let's see you out in the big one soon, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Richard.
Wayne Campbell down there with Richard Osborne. We will take a break from Colonial. The West Coast Eagles in a bit of trouble. The Tigers are dominating. A break and then back here. It's half-time at the moment at Colonial Stadium. Well, there's another match going on tonight. It's being played at Footy Park in Adelaide between the Crows and the Kangaroos. The Crows have been in pretty good form lately.
Richmond and the West Coast Eagles, a great second quarter by the Tigers. 9-7 to 3.
He went in the forward line. At the other end, the way they bring the ball in the forward line is really poor, giving Scott Cummings no option. Every time giving Philip Matera 1-on-4 against him, it's just too hard. They really need to look at the way they bring the ball in the forward line, guys.
Looks like they've gone back to their original structure with Glenn Jakovich at centre-half back too, Jim.
Yeah, it's interesting that although he's on his own, so he's probably just waiting for Ottens to come forward.
McIntosh is in the full forward area for the West Coast.
But they've got to do something. With Knight, Staffy and Chaffee, they've averaged 14 possessions, the three of them.
Well, Kemp can get them going. First up, Gehrig. Oh, he got out-bodied by Callaway. Andrew Callaway. Going sideways, a little bit dangerous. Might be a free kick.
Well done.
No, not paid. Well done, Philip Matera, but he was well tackled. Got the ball back to Kemp. Closing on him, Clinton King, but Matera, glass on the ground. Screws it back fairly blindly. Oh, Hilton, you're just about gone. Braun couldn't get a clearing kick. Tiger defence with numbers. Bowden, again off his wrong boot, went for the boundary line and just didn't quite find it. Or did he? It's out
Peter
now.
Matera tried to handball that onto his boot, didn't he?
Well, it worked, but I think it was already out according to the umpire. Have another look at it. The umpire's blowing the whistle somewhere along the line.
Or else he was trying to get it through his legs. To the other. There they go again from the half-back line.
Bowden involved heavily so far in this quarter. Bitterscombe was the target on the way out. Good pressure. Braun just persistent. Didn't give away the free. Oh, he did give away the free. Well, what are you meant to do?
I reckon he was stiff. He never got a free kick himself.
I agree.
Bitterscombe had possession of the ball.
Well, that is possession of the ball when you're hovering over it. It says that in the rules. Callaway, as he switches play, Hilton. Matera arriving on the scene late. Across half forward, he's got Rogers in short, or Clinton King pushing out wide. He'll probably go longer in the Ben Holland direction, will he? He does go for Holland. There was a lot of space in front of him, and he did pretty well. Bowden took them on again, kept his hands clear to get the handball away, and now on the overflow. He's had about 5 touches in this quarter, and he sprayed that one out of bounds on the full. And he must have a bit of soreness on the leg, the amount of times, on the foot, the amount of times he's touched it.
Well, the kick out has been taken by Cameron. Cameron is just forward of centre wing, runs nearly to half forward, and then kicks. Didn't quite float through the air the way he would have enjoyed it. Dragosevic, Cousins, who's been very quiet, Jakovic. Little kick by Glenn Jakovic is all right, and Braun marks. He's been called to play on. Why, I don't know. Obviously, the umpire thought he'd gone over the mark, or to the side of the mark. He kicks it down the line to McIntosh. Now, they really are clutching at straws with Ashley McIntosh up in the forward line. Gehrig, he's got to get a bit more of the football. Missed his targeting Cousins. He, in turn, looked for Morrison. The ball chopped off by Andrew Callaway to Duncan Callaway, then to Daffy. Daffy straightens up and kicks it to Holland. No nonsense footy by the Tigers. Get it, run with it, share it around and kick it quickly forward.
He's been terrific too, Daffy. It's just giving them something at half forward. He's able to come up, he linked through the middle there. But just the pressure, because really West Coast were away there. You know, Geary took the mark, poor handball.
Missed their target.
Put Cousins under pressure and the ball turns over. But really Richmond are making the West Coast pay every time they turn the ball over.
Holland has kicked 3 goals, going for his 4th. And he has missed.
Aussie Gardner unable to come back on, as far as you know. I mean, he's on the bench.
Yeah, we saw him limp off just before half-time. He looks pretty proppy. I don't think he'll be coming back on tonight, Hutto.
Yeah, that's a blow for them, isn't it?
Metropolis goes in short and finds Morrison. Back to Metropolis. Wider still, Jakovic. They've had 4 possessions and they're still inside their defensive 50. Now they get the ball down to Glass. Darren Glass didn't get a run in the first half. Fletcher to Embley, run down by Bitterscombe, but he got his kick away. Lands the ball at 50, and a good mark taken by Peter Matera behind Mark Chaffee.
He's probably one of the few Eagles that's really been consistent tonight. Like in the first half, he had about 15 possessions. But next to him, there's just such a gap. Kemp has been okay. You see here, just judged that well, but Chaffee's had a good game tonight. He's given them a hell of a lot of run out of the half-back line.
Well, there's Ben Harrison, and he will take no further part. On crutches, right leg heavily bandaged.
Just shows the extent of how badly he's done that hamstring, Robbo, being on crutches.
Does too, Richard. Peter Matera, badly needed goal. Good kick. Goal to the Eagles, kicked by Peter Matera.
You're right on that one there, Robbo. They really need a goal, and they need to get the next centre bounce clearance and get it forward, because, you know, otherwise they're just going to let Richmond run away with this game. But I suppose the old story, you never know what can happen in a quarter of footy. You can get a run on, you can kick 5 or 6 goals, and then all of a sudden they're back in the game. And but I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, though.
Just a little bit better planning on their behalf to get that ball to Peter Matera.
Well, Richmond have dominated in the hit-outs. Brad Otten's been credited with 11 hit-outs, and Michael Gardner 3. Ryan Turnbull yet to get his hand on any, and still that is the case. So a problem in the middle for the Eagles, but elsewhere, things just looking up a bit. Cousins, Matera not that time. They've just been very sure with their ball handling in defence, and their switches of play, the Tigers, it's been outstanding. Bitterscombe, King running for him onto the wing. Gee, it was a tough ask to get at the King. Might do that though. He's got the boundary line as his friend because he was outnumbered elsewhere. Did pretty well to be persistent and make it really tough, and the frustration showing for Braun, because you would have thought that Braun and Kemp could have perhaps conspired to get that one away on that occasion. 30 points the margin. The Tigers have been fantastic. Yet again, it was their second quarter that opened things up. Holland knocking it down, numbers with Richmond again. Broderick, who's done his bit tonight, has had 12 possessions. Daffy has been great. He was lurking. Wasn't a great handball, but he might get a second go at it. Oh, they almost messed it up, but Daffy did well. Holland just measured the kick sideways. Unfortunate bounce for Tawney, but his opponent, Matera, overran it. Clever kick. Hilton should goal from there. 45 and closing. Wasn't a great finish. Then they're behind, so Richmond just letting the Eagles off the hook with a couple of misses in this quarter. 9-9 to 4-8.
Well, they're really on top, Richmond, around the middle. And it's interesting, Eagles trying to find something to go forward. Like now they put McIntosh full forward. Now we know he kicked 2 goals last week up there, but you know, I don't really think that's their problem at the moment. They've just got to win.
The disputed balls around the middle of the ground is where they basically fall down, and the Tigers, when they do get their hands on it, they've proved to be far more efficient.
Yeah, and they're getting the ball, like they're getting clearer through the middle, so the delivery is a lot better, whereas the Eagles are always under pressure. Even that last centre bounce, Cousins is kicking it sort of under pressure around his body, which really didn't give the forward much of a chance.
Caught with the ball was Dragosevic, hacked out of the mid-air, the mark taken by Cameron. Kicks, oh, beautifully. You wonder whether he saw him. Let's give Leon Cameron the credit. Ben Holland, Broderick, back to Ben Holland. Left foot snap. Goal of the night so far, Ben Holland. Oh, dear me. Ben Holland, the skill of a young man close to 200 centimetres tall. And the combination with Paul Broderick was terrific footy for the Tigers.
Well, you said, did he see him? I reckon he did. And it was just good play. But, like, this is the second goal that he's actually kicked like a small player. He rolled that other one from Ottens in the second quarter from the throw-in. And here again around his body. And it just keeps putting West Coast Eagles under pressure.
Ben Holland's now kicked 4 goals. Almost conspired to make it as difficult for himself as he could then, but he kicked accurately. Turnbull gets attacked out of the middle. Kemp has been trying his guts out tonight for the Eagles. Cameron, who was great a moment ago. And this is where they start so many of their attacks. Across half back, Callaway and King. Just the skill level of the Tigers has lifted so much in the last few weeks. That wasn't the greatest of choices and certainly of disposals, but still the man in Chaffee is found. Puts it into space. It wasn't a good kick. And
good mark.
A good mark, yes. Good attacking play by Morrison.
I think when you said back there that it was a good play, at least they had kept possession of the ball.
Oh, he ran straight into trouble. Had Matera as one of the supporting cast. They all stopped. The umpire should really bring it back.
Poor umpire.
That is really poor umpiring. And this will really sting if Richmond to score a goal.
Well done, Metropolis.
It was very well done, but he's still under pressure. Rowan Jones across the body, and they've got a loose man out on the wing. And look who it is. Scotty Cummings, a long way from home.
Just carry it.
Going for a trot. Feeds to McIntosh. He's got 3 to beat. It was pretty ordinary again.
Well, just carry it. He needed to bounce it or try and draw a player to get the hand pass.
He might now realise what it's like for a full forward.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fair comment too, Jim. Vardy marks the ball for the Tigers at half-back. Raw bone, but shows plenty of promise.
Well, guys, it looks like the Eagles' problems are extending off the field. Ken Judge having problems with his phones, communicating with the bench.
What else can go wrong? Bitterscombe receives from King and then thumps it in towards the full forward area. Standing his ground was Morrison, and he's been paid the mark. Just spoke about Vardy before, but a young man in his first game, he's had 11 possessions, taken 3 marks, and I think from Danny Frawley's point of view, effected 2 tackles. which he'd be very pleased with a young man having a bit of a dip at that area of his game as well.
And it's only getting worse for the Eagles. Peter Matera just limped off. He's just come back into the side after calf injury, so it'll be interesting to see whether it's his calf or not.
Yeah, it looked like it when he kicked that ball. He just stopped.
Medical staff have surrounded him down here on the bench in front of us. Mark taken by Cameron. Feeds it to Knights. He goes back to Burke. Burke into half-back. King starting to accumulate.
He's doing a good job on Kemp.
Goes into the middle. Rogers takes the mark. He's flattened by Fletcher. Rintoul, actually, it was. Tawney not happy, but nothing much you can do in that circumstance. You've just got to try and put the pressure on the scoreboard.
He's been reported it will be 50 metres as well.
They've got to watch this, though, that they don't give away a free kick and turn it the other way.
Roderick is coming off the ground, and Ezra Poyas. Is this reportable?
He'll get off that.
Oh, no, because he got him under the arm.
He'll get off that. He was clearly going for the ball.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything too serious in that.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't withdrawn, actually.
It's worth 50.
Gardner onto the ground. You think it's worth 50 metres, do you?
Well, if the guy's taking the mark and then you come in and make contact, generally, because you can pull out, you can sort of pull back a little bit, but obviously you just wanted to make sure that you let him know that you can't get an easy kick in this game.
Well, Rogers has kicked two. His first deliberate shot at goal, he's put it straight through the centre. 3 goals to Matthew Rogers. Well, you spoke earlier, Jim, about a player on the forward line with not big stats. If he kicks a goal a quarter, he's done his job. Well, Matthew Rogers, with his 6th kick, has now kicked 3 goals.
Yeah, and you'd have to say that Metropolis has done quite a good job on it.
Yep.
But it's the old story, you know. I know at Melbourne with Jeff Farmer, it's similar. He might get a lot of the ball, but he kicks plenty of goals. So that's what you want.
Yeah, he's got a fairly heavy ice pack on his calf, so no doubt he's just flared up that old injury.
So the woes mounting for West Coast here. The margin mounting as well for the Tigers. Morrison has tried hard off half-back. Cameron, though. Callaway. Hilton playing the best footy of his career. Tawney running off Phil Matera. As the Tigers build again through half-forward. Metropolis, did he infringe? No, he didn't.
Well
Maybe he got to free himself. Matera, who run down, helping out Jakovic. Not much delivery there for Gehrig. And Rory Hilton roaring down the ground.
It's really come on as a player this year.
My word.
It's very up and down last year.
He was a high preferred choice in the draft a couple of years ago and had a bad knee injury.
Yeah, and I thought he copped a lot last year for inconsistent performances.
Jakovic. Kemp. Oh, gee, he needed to beat a few there, didn't he? Kept on going, Kemp, and eventually gets it somehow to Cousins. Again, the Tigers in best position in defence, though.
Oh,
and Hilton, he just keeps on running. Andrew Callaway. They're going to, I think, carry it through half-back rather than bomb. Burke, he just hang on to it a little bit too long. Kemp was quick with the hands. McIntosh did well to delay his handball. And then kick it to no one, really. Made it really tough for Gehrig. Gardner, who's probably not fit enough to be on the ground. Cummings, all the time in the world to line up. And miss.
4 behinds.
See, and he had Gehrig on his own who he could have kicked to. But I was impressed there when the ball went in first with Vardy. Vardy got in front of McIntosh. Really good play, just held him out, which brought the ball to the ground. Came down in front. Richmond ran away with it.
Well, obviously not overawed at all as Royce Vardy playing his first game for the Tigers.
And sometimes young players are afraid to get in front because they might get pushed in under the ball, and then an experienced player takes the mark from behind.
Big margin, isn't it? 42 points now, 75 to 33. Tigers have kicked a couple of goals in this quarter. West Coast Eagles have kicked 1. Mark taken by Biddiscombe. He looks as though he's just grown in confidence. Craig Biddiscombe, since crossing from Geelong. Leon Cameron. Good kick, wasn't it? Wasn't that? It's covered nearly 50 metres. And right at the face of David Burke. His kick very wide. It may have gone out on the full. It has. So David Burke missing Mark Dragicevic. Free kick to, not taken by Braun, taken by Fletcher. Fletcher for the Eagles. Short kick is all right. Gehrig feeds it off.
That looked like a throw.
Pretty slick stuff, wasn't it? McIntosh has marked the Gehrig kick, and McIntosh will shoot for goal from about 45 metres. Difficult angle. Very difficult angle.
For a left footer.
I'll tell you, that handball just before was an open hand.
Yep.
We might get to see it. Yep. No.
Probably just a fraction of a second too late, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was open. That was hand.
McIntosh shooting for the Eagles' 5th goal. He is unsuccessful. Registers the 10th behind on the scoreboard for the Eagles. 4-10. They trail Richmond, who are 11-9.
So they're not kicking very accurately, but still, I've got to say, Richmond are pushing the players out wide and forcing them to kick from the wings.
Apart from perhaps one or two of Cummings' first shots, they really haven't had many deliberate set shots that they've missed. Tigers again possessing the ball for a long way, trying to set up a pass. Poyas, who was a late inclusion in this side, couldn't take it. Rinchell did well, Poyas, to fight on, but the Eagles always had the numbers, as the Tigers do across half back. Cameron will be happy to see it over. And still Richmond dominating this game, 11-9, playing 4-10. And Leon Cameron has certainly been a welcome re-inclusion in the Eagles lineup, in the Richmond lineup tonight. Braun, Hilton going for the boundary line, or Dragicevic. Bad luck.
He's not big on the handball, Rory Hilton. Just on that occasion there, threw it on his left foot.
What half-back flankers are? Well, half-backs, they tend to just run down the ground and deliver with foot.
Gee, that was a good kick.
It was, but here we are again.
Yeah, that's a
Eagles
good point you've made there.
Setting up on 50, and even though the pass has gone into Gardner, his shot at goal is still very wide, isn't it?
It is.
That's good pressure.
Yeah, you think Michael Gardner gets a little lost up in the forward line? He's essentially just a around-the-ground ruckman?
I just think nowadays there's very few ruckmen that can actually be effective up forward. Because when the ball hits the ground, they're so quick now, backs, at getting the ball out.
That if he doesn't mark it, you're in strife.
Yeah, that's right. As you see here, the angle's too difficult. He's missed the kick. But even like Ottens is unusual. He's tall, but he can still kick goals up forward because he can take a mark. Alessio, but he does it because he's a bit smaller.
And he's not bad at ground level either.
I was going to say they're more athletic, maybe.
Tigers just been maybe being a fraction cute in the last 5 minutes in defence.
What about Cameron's precision? He has hit his target the last 4 times he's had a kick, Leon Cameron, and from reasonable distances as well. Tivendale has got the ball for the Tigers. There's a player in the middle of the ground. I think it might be Andrew Callaway trying to attract attention. Tivendale goes down the wing, Knights. Always looks as though he's moving in second gear.
He did it really well. He just held the player out, kept the space, left the ball so it sit up there so he could run into it.
Kick forward, no mark, but a free kick is going to be paid to Paul Simmons for the Eagles at half-back. Could go to Jakovic, but he's got Philip Materi. He may not be able to see him. He's behind 3 or 4 players. Now he's being manned up. And it's a little late. Simmons goes short to Turnbull.
Yeah, that's really not getting you anywhere, just that little 5-metre kick. They got Morrison on here now. Now he must play on or else.
Well, the Eagles seem to go forward on the same side of the ground, whereas the Tigers switch play and are quite prepared. Good mark taken by Rintoul. The Tigers are prepared to come down this side of the ground, gather, and then just switch play to the other side. Rintoul gathers his own kick after it was smothered off the boot. Kicks to the square. McIntosh punched away by Hilton. Rush behind to the Eagles.
It was good play there because McIntosh had the best position. He was just holding out, holding his ground, using his hands well. As you see there, Cummings back on the bench. I don't know whether he's been. I would assume he's been benched.
Well, Cameron kicking in. Certainly the Richmond defence have been a little more busy in the last few minutes. West Coast have done some attacking, but they've only come up with 3 behinds.
They're a lot more accountable, though. Now, here's a player they don't need to lose. It's Kemp. but they need to get some more run in the midfield. But it looks like West Coast are a little bit more accountable. They're playing man-on-man the last sort of 5 minutes and not allowing Richmond to get free men.
Jackson Crabb coming onto the ground.
Yeah, and as you'll see here for the kick out, West Coast have gone man-on-man, so now Richmond are creating a huddle in the middle, as you see there, bringing all their players in and trying to get someone, create a block like in basketball and get someone free.
Well, that's the kick. Yeah, they pushed up. Poyas and Bowden pushing up and further up the ground, and Bowden takes it.
Well, the kicking was just meticulous again by Leon Cameron. Found Bowden, and Bowden took the mark well outside his defensive 50. Kicks the ball out towards the wing, but it's been forced over for a boundary throw-in. And again, we just emphasise the fact that the West Coast Eagles just have struggled all night to kick goals. They've got 4, and we've got 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Kick forward by Glenn Jakovic, lands the ball at half forward. Well played again by Hilton. Bitterscombe gathers and then kicks to the advantage of Hilton. Probably could have done a little bit better. Hilton not able to gather the ball, quite prepared to take it over.
I thought that came off his knee there, and I thought the umpire was about to call out on the full.
I think he was.
But the home crowd, the crowd didn't say anything, obviously, because they're all Richmond there.
Well, we'll give 9 out of 10 to the boundary umpire for making the right decision there. Bitterscombe, and he's taken over by Philip Reid. Oh, don't get
he saw the second one. He saw the second one.
Oh, fell for the 3-card trick. Bitterscombe kicks it forward for Richmond.
Age-old problem for umpires is only looking up and seeing the retaliation. Cousins, good feed into the middle. That's better. And a more promising build. Well, it was a more promising build-up. They are running better. Morrison on the end of it. Eagles, something positive. They need a mark up forward, though. It's going to be hard for Matera. And Andrew Kellaway with typical, just brilliant courage and anticipation there, desperation, whatever adjective you'd like to use. Burke on the clearance, not so great. Fletcher stood up, which he had to do, and a good kick in, and really the Eagles rewarded finally for persistence.
Well, I've got to say the Richmond backs are doing very well like that. They're not allowing the one-on-one contest in the goal square, and the defenders are getting off the men like you saw there. Kellaway just came off his opponent and marked, but when it comes in that quick, there's not much you can do about it. If it's low, it's always...
Go on, Jim.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, when the ball comes in quickly and low, it just gives the forward an opportunity, but when it's hit in high, it takes too long to get there. It allows the backs to get in and support each other.
Tell you what, Hutto, there's only one difference between Richmond's performance tonight as distinct from their performance against Geelong. There's a couple of players missing.
Yeah, that's a good kick.
The same sort of footy.
Good kick from Philip Matera. He certainly hasn't been their worst player, Philip Matera, has he? He's had a dip. He's kicked 3 goals, 1. He's just lacked big marking players up there to bring the ball to ground and actually kick a few goals.
But if you consider the scoreboard now, even though there's what we've got 6-goal difference, the Eagles were a little bit more on target. It should only really be probably 2 or 3 goal difference, and then they'd be able to set it up for the last quarter and be in with a chance.
Well, if you were playing in this match, would you consider that margin is a defendable margin if you're a Tiger player?
Well, you don't ever want to defend a game. You just got to keep playing. Like you saw what happened to St Kilda last night.
Yep.
You know, they were up by, what, 5 goals at 3/4 time and lost by a point.
They'd need to get at least 1 more in this quarter, though, you'd think, wouldn't you, West Coast, just to give them momentum, give them something.
Well, the fact that Richmond haven't bolted, I mean, they did bolt towards the end of the second term and kicked about 4 unanswered goals quickly, but they still have only kicked 11, and we're nearly up to 3/4 time. The Eagles a chance here. Dean Kemp tries to get it off to Crabb. Duncan Kellaway confronted, but got his kick away. Gehrig has got to get this. Before it goes over the line, Fraser Gehrig handballs back to Glass. He's not able to do much with the footy before he's pushed over with the football. And the umpire will throw it in right half forward for the West Coast Eagles. And as Ben Harrison receives some further attention to that badly injured right hamstring. Duncan Kellaway tackled Bowden off the ground. No mark. Fletcher, Knights. Well done by Wooden. Kick forward by Duncan Callaway, bit of a wobbly one. Well done, Metropolis. He had to play it that way, met the ball on the half volley basically, got it forward. Gehry, still Gehry, can he outrun? He goes for the hand pass at the feet of McIntosh, back to Gehry, into the goal square goes Fraser Gehry and gets the goal the Eagles were needing and were looking for.
Gee, he was quick there, Gehry. Did you see him just take off? It looked like he was going to get caught there by Callaway, and he just kept going, powered. He could have handball to a teammate in the goal square, but he backed himself in and
just shows what he's capable of, though, doesn't it? It's what's most frustrating about it.
He did play it all right. I mean, getting it to McIntosh, who took it on the half volley, was pretty good footy in the finish.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the goal they were looking for, Hutto.
Maybe they can get another one, Hutto, and all of a sudden you've got a real last quarter to look forward to.
Just giving themselves a chance, aren't they? 27 points. They've been up for the last 10 minutes. Finally some reward for West Coast. A couple of goals. But the Tigers have been on top for the rest of the night. Let's see how they respond. Knights has responded well throughout the evening. Was he held there? No. It's out of bounds. Matthew Knights' game tonight. 20 possessions, 10 and 10.
Can't believe that he couldn't get a free kick there, Matthew.
He was grabbed.
Yeah, he got rid of the ball and was grabbed.
Yeah. So it should have been a free kick.
I agree. I was looking for it to be.
Yeah. But it was smart play, though. The West Coast player didn't hold him very long.
Well, Gardner, he said he's got a bit of an injury. Obviously, they've decided to play him in this last quarter as a target up forward.
Well, but then it becomes,
that's it. If you're going to be a target like that, you've got to take the mark.
It becomes mind over matter then, doesn't it? I mean, you must know all about that, having played all those games consecutively.
Yeah.
Play with injury, don't you?
Yeah, but if you go for a mark, he had the opportunity to take it, and he should have taken it there.
Well, Duncan Callaway doing the ruck work, gathered here by Simmons, across his body, in towards full forward, awkward bouncing ball, punched away in the finish by Tawney, just got his hand to it, which was important.
And these plays are really important for the Eagles. I can't understand why, but every time they go for boundary throw-in, the ruckman's trying to hit it forward, and all you've got is Richmond players waiting down for it.
Well, it's Bitterscombe on this occasion who gathers from the boundary throw-in, and Fletcher got rid of his opponent, goes in towards half forward, and McIntosh, he certainly added that little bit of a lift. Off to Fletcher, Fletcher across the half forward line, Philip Matera misses at ground level, makes a contest, in goes Rintoul, Rintoul's hand pass up in the air, gathered here by Jones, handball over the top, Crabb, can they get something here? They might, they just might. It's Wooden who is marked 50 metres from goal. Josh Wooden goes for the goal square, all the way to the line. At the front of the pack, it's punched close to the line eventually by the Tigers' defence, and it is a rush behind. Andrew Callaway was the player there, and the Tigers make another change. Dragosevic off and Tivendale on.
Well, they're actually playing on much quicker now, the West Coast Eagles, and while I didn't think McIntosh's option there, giving it to Fletcher, was the right one, but at least they're playing on as quick as they can.
Gee, well done by McIntosh. And they all stopped. But Jones has kicked a point. Gee, everyone stopped then.
What are they doing though? They're handballing to each other, standing beside each other instead of just going straight for goal.
Confusion there, wasn't there? 6-14 to 11-9. It's 25 points the margin. Just a little bit of good fortune, and it may be a lot closer.
Well, there's pressure now on each of these kicks, isn't there? There's a minute to go in the last quarter, and the Tigers defence, who have used the short option to get out of defence all night and used it really successfully, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, we're 25 points up and not 35. Can't make a mistake.
Kick by Andrew Callaway. It goes long on this occasion, out towards the wing and over for a boundary throw-in.
And this period of a game, time on, call it red time, it's very important because sometimes you find teams can kick 2 or 3 goals in that little window of opportunity, which is 2 or 3 minutes, and really can turn around the attitude when they come back on the next quarter.
Cameron nearly run down by Wooden. Chaffee accepts the hand pass, kicks it forward. Holland does well, very well. Bitterscombe kicks towards full forward, important here. Morrison, Rogers off the ground. Can he do it 3 times in a game? Kicked it into the pocket. Ottens and Turnbull. Back goes Metropolis, in trouble Crabb. Shot for goal. Is that Nick Daffy in there in the pocket? Snap at goal is missed to the left. And crab in all sorts of trouble for the Eagles behind play.
Yeah, that was just the bang of the clash of Holland and Crab roll. Just unbelievable. He's going to be a very sore boy.
So behind there for Richmond, kicked by Nick Daffy and Daniel Metropolis to bring it in with just seconds left in the term.
And nothing to go for except the short option. Kemp will just about ensure if he can kick well here that there'll be no more score in this half. Jakovic, clock going down, and siren to sound Eddie's tick of the clock now. There it is. So the Eagles just keeping this game alive with a late burst. They trailed at one stage by 7 even goals, but they've got it back to 26 points at the final break. We'll find out shortly whether or not they have the ability to really threaten the Tigers. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, yeah, look, you can't write them off. 26 points is not a huge score margin in footy the way it's played today. If they can come out and get the first one, they might get a run on. They certainly did towards the end of that quarter. And who knows what can happen. But really, Richmond, they've got to stop playing again they were playing there. They've just got to start attacking again and start playing with this winning attitude.
Richmond 11-10, West Coast 6-14. The last quarter to come in a moment. In Melbourne, as we look from the city across to Jimmy Steins' Colonial Stadium. 26,000 people in attendance tonight. And Richmond and the West Coast. The Eagles making a game of it. 11-10-76 to 6-14-50.
7 Sport hope you're enjoying this match as part of the Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season 2000.
And another game going on tonight. Adelaide and the Kangaroos. 3-quarter time there. If you don't want to know the score, look away now. And Richard Osborne's with Darren Crocker.
Darren Spud was fairly animated at 3-quarter time. Was there anything particularly he wasn't happy with?
Yeah, look, he just felt that, you know, our hardness was terrific in the first half, but it really dropped off in that quarter, and we've just got to get that up to the next level again. And also, just down back, he just felt we were starting to flirt with the game a bit, so we want to be a little bit more direct.
All right, thanks, mate.
That summed it up, didn't it, Jim? They were flirting with it a bit.
Yeah, definitely were, but I also thought that the Eagles were starting to play a bit more accountable football. They're actually manning them up.
McIntosh and Jones in that last quarter. Let's have a look at this. And they could have got another goal. Handball, wasn't ready for it, was he? And then Jones kicking the point. So it could have been closer than it is. They've got it from 42 back to 26 as the Tiger Barmy Army, as they chant. And they're enjoying themselves tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, if the West Coast can get a goal straight out after this centre bounce, they won't be chanting quite so happily, I'll tell you.
And they're really getting behind the Tigers as we start this last quarter from Colonial Stadium. Ottens, beautiful work out of the middle, Broderick. Up towards 50 and then inside. Daffy. Oh, it was an inventive sort of handball and Simmons takes it away. Not a great kick though for Wooden. I tell you what, he did well to ride Knights. Was under pressure to handball. Kemp, can he create? Looks up, kicked it very quickly. There wasn't much there for him. Callaway, too high. And the umpire onto it. Advantage paid. Hilton likes to run with it. His handball was a little haphazard, but it's okay. Tawney, who's had his hands full tonight with Philip Matera, but has done some good things. Onto the wing. Well, he had to go for the boundary line, he decided in the end then, because he was under pressure. Fletcher's been a pretty good player for them tonight since he's come on the ground. We have another look at the high tackle from McIntosh on Callaway. So which way will it go in the first few minutes of the last quarter? Simmons deciding to keep it in. Around the body, just bouncing inside.
There's another example of a throw-in where the person who actually won the hit out knocks it forward straight to the opposition. A little bit nasty there, that bump. But this is what I can't understand. Baden went for the hit out and wanting to help his team out, but hitting it to no one particular.
Well, no one really went for that one in the end. Such was the shepherding. Broderick, gang tackle. They're pretty up and about the Eagles, but that was a good outlet from King. Knights again, but his kick not good.
And Bloke's played a pretty good game. I reckon he's been the Eagles' best.
He stood up pretty well, had 13, now 14 possessions. His man's kicked 3 goals though, that's probably the only thing in the negative category of him. Turnbull just pushed it towards the boundary line. Reid took Chaffee on and the boundary umpire as well.
Did he kick that into the boundary umpire as well?
Yes, he did. Well, I think he might have been, I think he may have stepped over the line before he kicked the ball.
Very good.
Gee, that's a bad loss, isn't it, for the West Coast Eagles. Peter Matera, who'd been a pretty good player when he came off the ground towards the end of the 3rd term.
Amazingly, they've played better since he's gone off, which is absolutely no reflection on Peter Matera, but they could do with him out there now. Free kick to Richmond, I think, out of that.
I'm surprised actually they haven't put Cummings back on. You'd think when the game's there to be won last quarter, throw him back on, see what can happen, because he is a guy that could kick 3 or 4 goals for you.
Yeah, well, they've stuck with McIntosh, who's, I guess, moved around a bit more and given them some mobility. Holland couldn't get at that one. Oh, Morrison, a crucial fumble. Able to recover and had support. Rintoul, good build-up. Straight down the middle. McIntosh, you've got to go. He was up. Good spoil from young Vardy. Gee, good work. And his second effort, fantastic. Disposal, not so. Cousins, the give and then go. Long kick from Wooden. Here's a good one. And so the Eagles get the all-important first goal.
They have, and also he had to kick that because he had Gardner on his own running into the goal square and Gearig with him, so it was just as well he did. But as you'll see here, it was a good kick to McIntosh, so he kicked it where it was in the dangerous zone. Vardy did well, but kicked it straight to, I think it was Cousins, and Woodens just kicked it long in there. It was a good goal. It's just really what they need now, the Eagles, and the game is on. And Richmond are pretty quiet there, that supporter group.
I think... Well, that supporter group there behind the goals, Jim, they haven't got much to say now, have they?
No, they're very quiet.
Well, it's important these centre bounce clearances, and on this occasion the Tigers succeed in getting it forward. It's a contest. Duncan Callaway wide, Tivendale and Fletcher, still Duncan Callaway. Tackle, got the hand pass away to King. Back to Daffy. Daffy, left foot, snap foot. Left foot snap kick, should I say, off to the right, and he scores a behind.
He's had a couple of wild snaps at goal. Sometimes he just needs to take that extra fraction longer to take his kick.
Well, it's certainly the game is there to be won. Richmond have the advantage, but the Eagles making a little bit of a charge. Jones not able to keep the ball in.
I reckon Morrison's been pretty important for them since they've come back into this game.
Yeah, he's really given a bit of zip in there.
Yep, bit of run off the last line of defence.
And he's done well on Duffy.
18 possessions he's had on 9 marks, which does say a lot.
So this bloke got a few touches.
Yeah, he has. Simmons has been good. He's had 10 since he's come onto the ground. That's a bouncing one. I think that's a win-win there for the Eagles. They've gained about 55 metres.
And also psychologically right now, Richmond obviously are going to start to think, gee, you know, we had this game really in the bag at one stage, and now all of a sudden we've got to win this now.
21 points the margin. Broderick, does he escape? He does. Knights. Wooden has been right there with him. He's been applying pressure all night. I mean, Knights has had a great game.
Gee, Matthew must wonder though. Yeah, you better put your arms all over the bloke and hang on to him when you haven't got the ball.
Well, I think that there's a skill in that. You know, harassing a player without actually crossing the line and giving the free kick.
Fair enough.
Oh, well done, Callaway. Did the rucking and roving. Tivendale went head-to-head there with Fletcher. Daffy couldn't keep it in. So 16 and a half minutes remaining in this match. And Richmond really blew it open in the second quarter. A close third term, but the Eagles came back towards the end of it to give themselves a chance. They've kicked the all-important first goal of this last term, and now it's 21 points the difference with the Tigers in attack.
Chance for Nick Daffy. Well gathered Morrison, Fletcher, Kemp. They scream away from the half-back line. Good kick by Kemp, finds Gardner, looking to play on. He'll give the hand pass away to Fletcher, tries to get back onto his left side, then messes it up with a shocking handball. The turnover is going to be costly. It will be costly. It will only be costly, absolutely, if Ottens kicks the goal, but it should never have been there. The opportunity should have been for the Eagles to get a goal.
And that's a shocking decision to turn back in when you're going through the centre, all your forwards are going to lead to the kicking leg of that player.
Well, he's a left footer, that Fletcher.
But you just got to go that way.
Yeah, you do.
Pull back
I agree with you there.
On your left. You just got to stay going that way, because otherwise all your forwards are out of position.
Well, we're watching Ottens, who has kicked one, kicking from the right forward pocket. You can see the camera giving you a pretty good idea, and Ottens just misses everything, I would think, out on the full free kick to Jakovic for the Eagles.
Do you put that down to a bit of pressure?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Metropolis took a long time and really didn't use it well at all. Reed was late on the scene. Pittiscombe quick to play on. I think this is what Richmond have to do, is keep this positive movement of the ball, because that's how they got themselves in front in the first place. Holland goes long. Ottens again. He's got it again. He's in front and he's so strong. Not paid. Tivendale caught. Reed, well done. Went for the boundary line. He went for the boundary line. He had glass in front. Do you think that was a mark?
No, difficult one to pay, but I think Turnbull, I don't really think Turnbull is the answer up here, full-back.
No, it's probably a good call in the end.
Yeah, I think it's okay, but a bit dangerous. I don't think Turnbull's up for that contest on Ottens.
Broderick sets it up, not all that well, Ottens. Turnbull, that's what you're talking about. Well done, Morrison. Knight's in front again. Holland, oh, that's a throw. And then lucky to get away with it. Hilton, that's another throw. That was fair enough though, play on. Kicked it quickly. King, well tackled. Well done, good pressure Eagles. Good pressure King. He was lucky to get away as well. Eagles forcing forward. It's good, tight, tough footy. Gehrig got support, pushing through Simmons. Tigers defence through Cameron, standing up reasonably well. Hilton's been great all night, one of the best. Still the pressure on though. Burke got to be good with a clearance. He wasn't bad. Went around the boundary line. 21 points the difference.
Robbo, you mentioned before about why Rory Hilton doesn't handball very much. Well, I think that's probably why. That was a shocking handball.
Poor hand pass, wasn't it?
When you're under pressure and you've got a player behind you handballing back, you got to make it. You can't hit it along the ground.
Tell you what, the boundary umpire's given Richmond a few metres there. Embley kicks the Eagles to within scoring range. No mark. McIntosh tried to make a contest. Ball comes to Duncan Callaway, caught, but got the hand pass away. Leon Cameron, as he spotted a player further down the field, he hasn't missed his target yet since he came on the ground. On this occasion, it's David Burke. Burke's kick into the pocket, and the mark is taken by Tivendale. Neat left footer, Greg Tivendale, and he doesn't let me down here either. He puts it on the chest of Nick Daffy, and Nick is 50 metres from goal, and a real chance to just push back the challenge from the Eagles. This was mounting.
And this is really to steady the ship.
Yep. Beautiful kick by Tivendale.
It's been quite a while since Richmond have actually kicked a goal.
Daffy has kicked two. Fairly good stats for Nick Daffy after, well, struggling to say the least. Not quite up to his the standard that we're used to from Nick Daffy over the last couple of weeks.
20 minutes since the Tigers have kicked a goal.
Well, that's probably why Danny Frawley was so upset.
Daffy, at his second attempt, kicks long, high, and away to the left, through for a behind to keep the Eagles within touch.
What do you think in that situation, Jim? Did he do the right thing having a shot?
Well, obviously he was confident he was going to make the distance. But I wouldn't if I didn't think you could make it, or you're just hoping, then you kick it to the edge of the square.
McIntosh off the ground and Cummings on.
Matera. Oh, it's dangerous. Gee, well done, Morrison. And as a result, it does open things up a bit as Richmond had pushed forward for the possible turnover. Oh, Fletcher turns it over again. Broderick. Oh, disappointing. There's a free kick. It's coming back to Fletcher.
Oh, that is lucky.
How lucky were they?
Why he came back in the middle again?
Morrison. Oh, who's he going for there? Gardner does get through to him. Gehrig could kick this. He could kick it. Oh, not with a kick like that, though. To the square. Was there infringement? No. Good defence. Matera's going to take it out. He kept it in, actually. Cummings is back on the ground. Ottens a long way from home. Under pressure. He's going to concede. Oh. It's a good game now.
So Cummings might be back on the ground. He's not moving very fast, but he's thrown a bit of his body around.
Well, a big bloke would take. He's been on the bench for a little while. It would take him a little while to get back to the tempo, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Hilton's giving them an option on the kick in, but he's not going for Hilton. He goes to the outer side. Looks like it's a good kick.
Oh, it was a good kick, but it was a good effort to take the mark as well. It's Andrew Callaway. Decides to hand pass it off to the kicker from the previous play, Leon Cameron. His kick is I'm in raptures over the way his precision has found on this occasion Holland. He's kicked to the goal square, Fletcher getting back, the ball spinning away from Tivendale and through for a behind.
Kicking a lot of points.
I can't believe that the West Coast attack would let Leon Cameron, no one on him, walk past Andrew Callaway, who's known for his poor disposal, to get an easy receive. Amazing.
Jones gets rid of his opponent, which was Bowden. Back goes Chaffey, concedes. They keep possession of the ball, the Tigers. Hilton, he's on the wing and he kicks it close to the half-forward line where Tivendale is marked. Still keeping possession of the ball. Kick by Tivendale. Disputed position at half-forward for Richmond. Comes to the back. Knights is well tackled by Wooden. Spills. Still Knights has the football. Could he be penalised? No.
Gee, could have been, couldn't he?
We have seen circumstances like that, players penalised, but on that occasion the umpire has decided on a bounce. He dragged it back in and fell over.
Yeah, it was in a bit of dispute there.
Yeah, that's probably a fair call in the end. Tigers 79, Eagles 57. Good, tight last quarter. Knights, Holland, they just need one goal and they'll just about be home, the Tigers.
Got in the road again then.
Chaffey, awkward kick. Oh, awkward, Embley. Under pressure, Metropolis did pretty well. Well done, Morrison. Gee, cool, very cool. Even cooler than he really should have been, but he got away with it. They're into the feed, and they're out of trouble. Fletcher off his left, that's a better disposal. Turnbull up the ground, running with Ottens. Wooden in and out of trouble. He can take them on. He can run to 50. He shoots steady. Only Tigers in the goal square. Didn't get enough on it, and Vardy gets back to take the mark. And what a game young Royce Vardy has had. 13 possessions and 5 marks. Pretty good stuff in your first game.
Andrew Callaway for Richmond goes across the full-back line and finds Hilton. Hilton, indecision, may cough it up. Oh, top effort by Burke to get to the fall of the ball. It's in there somewhere, the footy. Eventually, Dean Kemp feeds it out through his legs.
They've just about put away that rule of holding the ball when you're hovering over it, haven't they, for the last weekend?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen plenty of players getting...
Now, he's over the ball, he's over the ball, he's over the ball. Is he trying to get rid of it?
No, I didn't.
No.
Didn't try very hard.
Cousins accepts the knockdown from Turnbull, retains possession, shrugs the tackle from Duncan Callaway, goes short and does it good. Does it very good, Ben Cousins, onto the face there of Scott Cummings, and Cummings will kick for a very, very important goal in the context of this match.
As we said a bit before, he's a man who can win this game.
Yeah.
He can kick 2 or 3 here. There's plenty of time. And really, this is, you know, for a full forward, this is your bread and butter. Yeah. This is the sort of kick that you must kick.
Well, he hasn't kicked one yet.
Vardy off and Fiora on for Richmond.
Cummings will get the distance, you would think. Oh, terrible kick. Absolute shocker. Oh, what a spectacular mark that is. That's a mark taken by Embley.
It was a great pass, wasn't it, by Cummings?
I'm glad you've got your tongue firmly planted in your cheek.
I can't believe Cummings hit that bad.
It's a set play, Jim.
Well, Embley has the ball. Go back and kick a goal. Make a little bit of a name for yourself if you can do that. Take a deep breath, which he does. Angle, quite difficult. You can see the boundary line, not that far away. Tries the reverse punt kick. He does well. He's kicked the goal. Eagles a chance. Andrew Embley kicks his first goal and gets the 8th goal for the West Coast Eagles. The margin is just 16 points.
Well, it was a terrific mark here. He just got right up. And I suppose not many, particularly Richmond players, wouldn't have expected the ball to drop short. But great mark. But as you'll see, Richmond have been down. They've had plenty of chances to score goals. They've just been kicking points. And now the West Coast Eagles have punished them. And we've got a game on our hands here.
Well, what a spirited effort it's been by the West Coast. Danny Frawley, he would have thought when his team led by 7 goals and another win was on the way for the Tigers. Now not so sure. Still they lead though, and there's only 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go. So they should make it from here. The Eagles though are really coming back hard. They've worked well. Cousins has pushed into defence just to help out. Was that holding on? No. Play on. Close to the boundary line and over and out.
You've got to give Ben Cousins a pat on the back there to get back and help Jakovic. I think you could see once the ball bounced that his key defender was in trouble and he ran a long way to get back and help.
Gee, that could be crucial. Ottens with a limp. He might just push forward. Let's see what happens. Fiora went down. Did pretty well in the end. No one really able to compete with him. King sets it up to centre half forward. Holland. Jakovic, Knights, Camp where he should have been. Handball was a floater. Chaffee, tough one. Oh, good mark, Metropolis. You're right, Robbo, he really has beaten Rogers, apart from Rogers'
look at this
goals.
Look at this, Hutto.
Kemp is free.
Kemp is free. If Reid can hit him, it's a high one, a tough one for Kemp. Just couldn't get him to mean that he could run on, which won't help the Eagles. But Gehrig on the overlap. They've still got a man in Jones sprinting down the ground. Goes for that player, Cummings and Jones. Need a play off the head. Oh, a fluky ball. Burke took it, and he's got a loose man. Dragicevic is just back on the ground. Will it make him, though, on the wing? Charging after it is Gardner. Well tackled. Great tackle. Not rewarded, but the team will be rewarded. Hilton takes it. Oh, a scrubber of a kick. And it's out in the full.
Hutto, you called that perfectly. Dragicevic must be, well, he's not 6 foot. And he took on the big bloke with gusto, didn't he?
Yeah, well, the big bloke knew he had 2 to beat, so he probably should have just pounded towards the boundary line. Forced the throw in.
Otten's still in a bit of strife. He's coming off the ground. And he'll be replaced by Poyas. So bad loss for Richmond with just under 6 minutes left. The game is winnable for the Eagles, but you'd think they'd need pretty well everything go in their favour in the last 6 minutes. Bounce of the ball, marks, hand passes. They've all got to hit their target. Jones, now Bowden for Richmond, kicks it back. Jakovic should gather. He's got to pinpoint someone. He can go short to Kemp. He goes to a disputed situation. Hilton, Holland, Kemp, King, kick forward by Cummings. Into the pocket, it'll bounce, may stay in, it does. Andrew Callaway runs away from Gehrig, kicks it down the line, and eventually it's still in. Dean Kemp decides to keep playing the football, which you do, and still the whistle is blown. And a big punch back there from David Burke forces a boundary throw in to the pleasure
you see
of the Tiger supporters.
Sorry, Rollo, Brad Otten's getting his left ankle strap. Obviously they're hoping to get him back on the ground, but I tell you what, it doesn't look too good.
It's bad news, isn't it, for Richmond tonight, but particularly for the future. And next week with Gale, a late withdrawal tonight. Anyway, more immediate matters. Callaway goes down, Reid under pressure. Bowden rode over the top. It's about 15 out. Chaffee, numbers back. They pushed him to the goal square there. Bitterscombe to a one-on-one contest. Metropolis has beaten Rogers in the air for a lot of the night. Rogers, though, has kicked 3 and had a little bit of it early. And gets a neutral decision there, and I think Richmond will be happy with that. Be tough from here for the Eagles. 16 points is the margin. 4.5 minutes to go.
They did well there, though, on that throw-in. Turnbull just got a nice hit out the back, and it gave them an opportunity to get a goal.
Well, there's no ruckman out on the ground, really, for Richmond, is there? So West Coast should win.
Oh, game. That's what I say, the targets, they have to hit the targets with hand passing and foot passing. Frustrating there for the coach. Gardner and Joel Bowden having a bit of a dust-up there.
But that's been one of their problems for most of the night with the West Coast. Just poor disposal of the ball.
Well done from Turnbull to get it down. Free kick, going West Coast way.
You know, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, there's been probably 2 or 3 free kicks that the umpires could have paid. Now he plucked that one out, Brett Allen. It was beyond me.
Well, they all make their leads. Simmons is going to go long, I think, in the end, unless he can get something in short.
Well, he's got Gardner in the goal square.
He's going to go for the lead. And too wide, and it's out on the full. No? It's come off higher on the leg, obviously.
Actually, it was a poor kick too.
It was. But you're right, Jim. Even if he had have taken the mark, it would have been a tough kick at goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's not where you want to be going, particularly when it's this close. You've got to get it in the corridor or else go to the goal square.
So 4 minutes remaining. Jones trying to get it up and invent something. We'll see another ball up. And we're under 4 minutes now, and the clock counting. Otten's making an effort to try and get back on the ground.
You'd have to consider it to be grand larceny if the Eagles could get out of it. But that's what football's about, isn't it? Just keep on going until the final siren sounds.
Well, it's 4 quarters of footy.
Hilton has the ball. He keeps it and did pretty well in the finish. Mongrel old kick though. Helicopter pump. Bounce favours Kemp. He's got to play on his own. It is Cummings. Can't gather. Bashes it forward over the head of Hilton. Bounce. Well done, Burke. Hand pass away, Holland. Holland down the line. Still the Eagles. A chance to pump it forward once again. The bounce favoured Jones. Hand pass went back to Turnbull. Turnbull gathers and thumps it, like Jimmy Stein said to the goal front. Here's a chance. Peter Philip Matera. Great goal, Philip Matera.
Now that was spectacular.
Well, he was there, wasn't he? What you said to do, put the pressure on, and that's exactly what happens. It goes to the front of the pack, and he does the rest.
Well, as you'll see here, Turnbull just got it long, and he got it to the front of the square. Pack of players. Matera stayed down. The ball had hardly hit the ground, and he had his foot on it.
Well, you've got to have a bit of luck to win footy matches, to win anything in sport.
Oh, you do.
The pressure on Danny Frawley and the Tigers. 4 goals to Philip Matera. What a fight back by the Eagles. They were down by 7 goals at one stage. Now it's 10. Simmons gets them inside 50. Gardner over the top. He dropped it. Oh, he dropped it. He fights on well, though. Off the ground. A bouncing one. Oh, and the pressure Tawny. Is he gone? Is he gone? Oh, he's not. Oh, Stephen Hanley, the pressure was on. The question, I suppose, did he have prior opportunity to get rid of the ball? And the answer was probably that he didn't.
Oh, doesn't look too good. He's trying to punch it, but he's not actually letting it go.
No, you can be sure that he didn't actually want to get rid of it.
Philip Matera was very good again.
Gardner looking for someone to tap it to. Oh, he tapped it almost to himself. Tawny to the line. Oh, on the full! Oh, it's on the full. Hits the copper on the head.
They've got to kick it out quick. Emily's on his own.
That's the pressure you're talking about.
And the pass allowed.
Amazing. Yeah, the tide will turn. Yep. He wouldn't have done that early in the game, would he? Duncan Callaway.
2 minutes 17 and counting down on the clock. Embley.
They're the ones who just want to kick along the ground. So
he can't afford to take too long with this kick because the clock counts. Obviously, he's got to do it and kick the goal. There'll be time to get it down again. What a big kick for Andrew Embley.
She looks.
No.
Is it there?
No, wrong side, behind. So that was probably there. But they're still in it. Obviously, they can take a mark or win the ball from this kick in. But 9 points in 1 minute and 48 seconds is not going to be easy as Andrew Callaway takes the mark.
No, it looks a bit of a task, doesn't it? 9-16 to 11-13. Richmond lead by 9 points with the clock ticking away. And Richmond trying to run it down, basically. Andrew Callaway kicks it out towards the wing. Gary couldn't mark. Simmons again kicks it back to where Andrew Callaway and Philip Matera contest that mark. It's forced over for a boundary throw-in.
Well, for the Eagles' point of view, if it's going to go anywhere, out of bounds. And the clock stops.
Yeah. They need, as I said before, they need everything going in their favour because they've got to kick 2 goals to win the game. Ben Holland handballs it back towards the wing. Duncan Callaway kicks it down towards the proper wing position. And in his attempts to try and just keep the ball alive, young Jones has hacked it out of the mid-air over on the full free kick to Bowden.
Now this is where the Eagles have got to be man on man. They can't let a free man anywhere, or else Richmond will just try and keep possession.
Rogers, now the umpire's called play on. He goes short.
So they can't allow that to happen.
Kicks it to Cameron.
Richmond will just run the clock down here.
It's down under a minute now, Jim. And a pretty experienced campaigner has got the football in Leon Cameron. He's indicating that he wants the players to get close to the boundary line, which is a fair play. I mean, he's going to kick it to where it should be contested by his teammates, to the 50-metre line. And King gets it back to Knights. Knights will go for goal. Matthew Knights kicks it all the way to the goal line. It bounces and bounces over. Fair result for the Tigers with half a minute left.
They'd be happier with it out of bounds than through for a point.
Yeah, definitely. There was a bit of a risk there for Knights to actually go for a shot because he was pretty far out.
Well, the crowd won't know how long there is to go. But Richmond are home now with 20 seconds to go. I think we can safely call it, although you never know in footy. They've fought on well, the Eagles, in this last quarter, but they won't have enough time from here. The run is through centre-half back, and a good effort there from Embley. Inside the last 10 seconds, though, they go forward. Gardner was the target. At the back of the pack, Tawney there, the siren sounds, and the Tigers have got there. They stopped. They stopped in the third quarter when they led by 7 goals. But they have limped home. Didn't kick a goal in the last quarter. Kicked just 3 points. The West Coast came home. They only managed 3 goals too. That wasn't enough in the end. Richmond getting home by 9 points. Let's go down to Richard Osborne.
Well, Royce, first game, good win. How do you feel, mate?
Oh, fantastic. No, just very happy to get away with the win. We really struggled there second half. Struggled to kick a goal, but yeah, fantastic.
Well, the game obviously was won in that second quarter, but the Eagles, to their credit, they kept coming back.
They kept coming back. We went a bit too defensive in the second half. Danny just said, he wanted us to attack, keep attacking in that last quarter, but we hung on.
And when you came off, you looked a bit sore. Any problems?
Oh, just cramp, just bad cramp, mate, yeah.
Well, mate, enjoy the win. Good stuff. We'll see a lot more of you.
Royce Vardy, well, what a game for him to be initiated into the competition. 7 kicks, 6 handballs, 4 marks and 2 tackles.
Well, would you say that that's a bit of a hollow victory when you don't kick a goal in the last quarter and you come home with the points?
I'd reckon the coaching staff wouldn't care less, Jim. I think the Tigers, I think all the Richmond supporters, I know quite a few Richmond supporters, and they've been built up to expectation, and then the team doesn't deliver. And I think all they want is their team just to keep on winning. And if it's not a sensational victory, they couldn't care less, these supporters that keep coming.
I agree with you there with supporters, but I'm sure Danny Frawley would be saying afterwards when he gets them in the rooms, listen, fellas, you've got to kick some goals.
Well, that's Ben Harrison, who came off the ground with a what we thought at the time was a badly torn right hamstring up high. And when you're on crutches, you would think that, gee, we probably won't see him for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, hamstrings are never very good, and they don't tend to heal very quickly. But I suppose, as you see here, the players seem to be fairly happy. They didn't give up. They didn't start to defend. They just kept trying to attack, and they just kept kicking points.
At the 12-minute mark of the third quarter, Richmond led by 43 points after Rogers kicked a goal, and they went 46 minutes without scoring a goal, but they still won the game.
46 minutes.
46 minutes.
So I don't know, it wouldn't be too many teams that would win a game doing that.
No, but I guess when you look at their injury list, their ever-mounting injury list, and they played tonight without Campbell, without Richardson, Gaspar, Gale, there was a late withdrawal, and Miranda. They lost Harrison during the game and Ottens in the last 5 minutes. They've got the 4 points. I know what you're saying, and I think you're right, but I think they're pretty happy to have won the game. And they've won 5 out of 4. That puts them ahead of the ledger. So they're up there. They're up at about the 8 now.
They're in the 8, solid in the 8. Let's just see here, Vardy.
Back to you, Richard Osborne.
Yeah, Matty, a win's a win, mate. How you feel?
Oh, yeah, mate, it's great, Richie. I mean, the Eagles come pretty hard in that last quarter, and we're happy to hold on, you know.
And yourself, you got plenty of the ball. We're happy with your own performance.
Yeah, a little bit scratchy. A few I would have liked to use a bit better in that second half, but no, good to get a bit of the ball and good to have another win.
Another pleasing sign, Rory Hilton down back. He was fantastic tonight.
Yeah, he just kept on repelling attacks, Rory, and he's getting better and better each week. He's a tribute to his better season, to his fitness, and he's going really well.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy.
Well, Matty Knights And the Tiger fans pretty happy. I think fair comment too, the Eagles really did hit back. It was like someone flicked a switch, wasn't it, midway through that third quarter? And all of a sudden they just tightened up first of all, put a bit of a squeeze on the defenders, and then eventually, well, even in the end, their system wasn't all that great into attack, was it? They really probably...
No, well, they kept rotating players trying to get a winner somewhere. And, but I thought in the midfield they really lifted the ratio. Like Kemp ended up with 30 possessions.
There's Brendan Gale in the background that didn't take his place in the selected side. But Matthew Knight's in the background there too, Dale Wakeman, who was a tremendous player for Richmond. They've got two of their former players as runners, Dale Wakeman and Michael Gale.
Well, Danny Frawley and Matthew Knights. Let's go down to Danny Frawley. No, I think we lost him there.
I think that'd be a first if you could grab the coach before he'd had a chance to talk to his players.
Yeah, I think as he said there, he said, I want to have a chat.
They're going to crank up the song again at Colonial. They're going to sing about Tigerland again. We'll take a break. Richmond winning here by 9 in a thriller.